Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to TCG University. It's me, Noah, here with
James.
And we're going to be doing our first impression / review for Opus 17 of Final Fantasy, obviously. Rebellion's Call. You have the card images all set and ready to go?
Card images are up.
Sick.
The English translation's up too.
All right. First image is, I don't want to mispronounce this, but I'm probably going to. It's Adelard? Adelard?
Yeah, sure.
Adelard, FFBE, 2-drop 5k. Damage dealt by your abilities to forwards the opponent controls cannot be reduced. Pay 2 fire during this turn. If your ability deals damage to a forward, double the damage instead. And then special, pay 2 fire, choose a forward, deal it 10k damage. James, what are your thoughts?
Kills one dude by having a copy and doubles things. Squall, Rain, Jacked, Samurais.
Oh, yeah, Jacked is kind of nuts.
Samurais.
Yeah, it definitely, Cyan gets a boost on his ability to cleave a board, essentially. I think he has a built-in Kukaspel, which is also really nice because it gets around every Minwu effect possible because it says it can't be reduced, so it doesn't matter. Paying 2 fire seems really simple for the ability damage, and then his special I don't think is ever really going to get used as much, and like the only reason you would ever use it, honestly, I would think is if you're playing, is it Glacelia, which we'll see later underwater. If you're playing her, otherwise I would keep another copy of him in hand just for the simple fact of playing another one. He's a 2-drop 5k, so he's like kind of easy to get off board with a lot of things. Odin, Brynhilder. What do you see this card in the most? I for sure am going to say Samurais. There's no way that Samurais doesn't play this card, but like anything else that would like come to mind.
I think the FFBE deck will definitely play it.
But which one? Because
regular one.
From what I've seen, FFBE has like 3 different playable decks off of what's been showcased.
I think just like any of them really. Turning anything into double damage
is really good. Him plus Jin is really nice too because it's double damage plus an extra 1k. Because it says if you're hold on. Because Jin says if a forward deals damage, increase it by 1, and that's an ability. That's a field ability on Jin. So does it double Jin to do 2k on the increase, and then him increasing as well if you use his ability? So like for instance,
no, it
let
says double the damage to a forward. Would deal damage, you double the damage.
If your ability deals damage to a forward, double the damage instead.
Jin doesn't deal damage.
Jin does not. Okay, cool. So then theoretically with Squall and Jin, it would be Squall goes for 5, Adelard boost it for 10. It's a 10k board sweep.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool. Just wanted to make...
This new FFBE deck that's going to come out, I think we heavily use this because Pay a Crystal, do a thing is nuts.
Pay a Crystal 10k, dude, for 2 fire. A lot of them, I think they balanced it out, and we'll get to more of them. I think they balanced it out pretty well, with a lot of them having like a pay 2 cost and like a pay 1 cost with the rest of their special. Yeah, I think the only one that has a pure special cost is Ramada. Ramada. What do you rate this? If you were going to rate it out of like 10?
7.
7?
Yeah.
I'd put it at an 8 to a 9. I just think it's a very good utility card to play. I guess the only issue is that it is super easy to spike off board with like an oops Brynhilder into my shit. Yeah,
just colors.
Your deck has to be playing fire. You can't just like hope for it. Moving along, I think this card's fucking nuts. 5 CP Edgar. I wish my computer would pull this up, but that's fine. When Edgar enters the field, 5-drop 7k. Category 6, when he enters the field, choose up to 2 Category 6 forwards other than card name Edgar in your break zone, add them to your hand. Pay 0, choose a Category 6 forward to cost 3 or more you control. The next time you use its special ability this turn, you can do so without paying the special cost.
See, you remember earlier when we were talking about Rebels?
Yeah.
And the fact that...
you think they should have made a Rebel like this?
I think this would have been a cool one. To do a special, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like
you can click on the picture, it enhances it.
Yeah, I just don't want to have to try and go back.
You just click off the picture.
But, yeah. And then, like...
I love the
art.
art.
He also picks up 2.
I think... So, I'm just going to give my rating initially with this card. I'm going to put it at probably a 6 to 7. Only because, and we'll get to them, there's too much fucking break zone tech to remove your break zone with this set.
I don't think that makes this card worse. I think it makes those cards better.
I mean, obviously it makes them better, but because there's so much of it, it's easy to be like, I'm gonna play this Edgar, and you choose your targets, and they go, no.
It doesn't make this card worse.
Or they make you get one less target with like Edward or something.
Pick up 2 dudes, play an ability for free.
I think making him cheaper is where he's down. I think he's a 7. I think that's what hinders him from being higher.
Already has a bunch of good shit.
Category 6 does have a decent amount of good shit.
Even
You have a lot of just in Category 6. You have a lot of good specials you can use, like Go-Go, Locke, Sabin, Duncan. You're not really gonna replay Duncan, but you can use a free Duncan, which is just a free 8K. Woo! You could theoretically use Terra, but like nobody really cares that much.
like,
Any of the Setzers.
This card's definitely an 8.
But I do think his action's nuts. And with Go-Go, because it's an action, you'd be like, I'll pick up, because everybody's gonna relate this to like the new Sabin, which we'll end up getting to. The new Sabin, they'll be like, I'll pick up 2 Sabins because I already have one in play, and then you'll be like, Go-Go, copy this ability after I use it, and you'll be like, Oracan, and just 8K their fucking board apart. I think it's really sick. Moving, it does for sure. I think it also, the one thing I see that Category 6 had a big issue with was being able to make things cheap, quote unquote. Like Mog made Amaro cheap, whoop-de-doo, but like that was really it. This card is essentially a 3 CP, or sorry, 1 CP card, technically.
Because you get stuff back.
Because you'll pick up two back. It is selective. And Sabin also, which we'll get to, is almost essentially 1 CP as well. Oh, yeah. If you play him properly. Moving on, we have Elfay. Elfay. I'm going to say it that way.
I'm just going to say Elf.
2-drop backup, Category 7. EX burst, when it enters the field, you can discard a card. If you do so, search for a job Avalanche Operative, add it to your hand, and then Dull, put it into Break Zone, choose 4, deal at 1k damage. James?
The best text on this entire card is Avalanche. The best text on this card.
When you say that, are you talking about the job or the actual ability to pick one up? Okay.
The ability to discard 1 search is pretty cool. I wish it was just search in general, but whatever.
I think the discard 1 search is fine.
It's a 2-drop.
Unless your opponent is already pre-established with a way to get rid of your break zone so early in the game when you're probably going to play this, I think the discard 1 is fine, because look at it this way, right? You discard a Biggs, search for a Barrett, or you discard any of your avalanches that you can pick up and search for the card you need. It searches for Tifa just like Zangan does.
In my opinion, the weakest color is fire.
Yeah.
The weakest color to build on if you need.
Honestly, I kind of wish this card was under Earth. I think that's your. I think Earth in terms of backups is your weakest color, because you're playing you personally are playing the forward wedge and not the backup wedge.
You wanted Earth. For the deck itself, this should have been Earth, but for what the deck needed, fire is what it needed.
Really?
It had no good fire targets. Zangan's your best fire target, and then everything else is filling space.
I guess.
Earth has better backups in general.
I mean, you get like Marlene under. I just think it would be.
Earth has better backups in general, but fire doesn't have much that it can do. Whereas Earth is what you want because all of your Avalanche forwards are 1-drops.
Okay.
Which plays things for free.
Yeah, that's why I would say you would want Earth, is for that reason.
Earth, but you need fire because you already have good Earth.
I'll give it a solid 7.
I'd say 7. Yeah.
I don't like the bottom ability because like you probably never want to break it unless you're going to play another one, and like the 1K might be nice depending.
Honestly, being able to break it and play another one seems nuts.
Yeah. It is nice, and it's not it's not restricted to your turn either. No. Next one we have up is 5 CP Garland. I'm putting this as like a filler card, so it's probably just gonna be like a 4 to me. 5 CP 9K, which is just standard on curve shit.
2 or less cards gains 1,000 brave. Oh, 100% like a 4 or 3.
If you control a 2 or less, he gains 1,000 brave. Yeah. Like I don't see anything cool with him besides. Why would you play him over? He's a knight. So, like, why would you play him over playing 4 CP Legend Garland? Right? Like, you're only playing that just so you have copies to pitch.
I was about to say. That's the only reason you play is so you can pitch it for the special on the other Garland.
Next one up, we have King. 4-cost, 8-drop category type O. When he attacks, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose a forward, deal it 3k damage, or King gains 2k power until the end of turn. So he can be a 10k beater, or you can ping things for 3. I think the ping for 3 is kind of okay, depending. It's not. It functions. Let me rephrase this. This functions the best in Type O. In the cadets list, the 3K is really nice. The issue I have is I don't want to play this King compared to the other 4-drop, because the other 4-drop is essentially a 2-drop with the same power level.
Okay.
That it doesn't boost itself. Who cares?
It also doesn't play itself for free.
This
Like,
no, this doesn't make itself cheaper to any degree.
No, I think for like what the Cadets is right now as a blitz deck,
Cadets needs to be able to play things cheaper or recur cards easier so they can keep up.
or have better.
Because once the Cadet board is wiped, it is really hard to set back up.
Wall cards,
Yeah.
cards that sit on the board easily.
Yeah, and it has like a select few, but the issue is like the board's gone. The board's gone.
Yeah.
And this isn't a card that can solve that
overextends
problem.
sometimes to play
It definitely does. So I'm putting this at like it's a filler. It's like a 2. Moving on, we have Gotetsu.
This card is okay.
Gotetsu is a 3-drop 7K. The job samurai forwards and card name samurai forwards other than Gotetsu you control gain 1K power and brave, and then when he's put from field to break zone, choose a job samurai or card name samurai other than Gotetsu in your break zone added to hand. You know what this means? Tenzin loop. Gotetsu dies, pick up a Tenzin. Tenzin dies, pick up Gotetsu. Do it all again.
It would be nice to always have a Tenzin.
They can't. I mean, obviously break zone removal's there, but like minus that being a factor, this Gotetsu's kind of nuts. Plus the fact that he gives all of your samurais 1K and brave other than himself is
1K brave
really
is
nuts.
very nice.
Yeah, I think samurais wants the brave
100%.
more than anything else, because if like being able to party attack and cleave a board and your dudes are still up and they have to do something.
To deal with it,
Yeah, there's no way of getting around it. I think this Gotetsu, I personally would put him at like a 7
I think he's like
to
7 to almost 8.
to almost 8. Yeah.
Just because of the brave.
It's the 1K and the brave because your Cyans now are 8Ks as well. Yeah.
This Gosetsu is not better
Than the
than
Searcher.
the backup one because Fire Scions is not going to play it.
He has a category 14,
Yep.
which is very important for Hein.
Yes.
That means this guy can attack twice.
Who cares?
That's
You want
nuts.
Backup. The backup searches Heinz and gives you a red backup.
I mean, if you're playing Tenzin,
If you're playing Scions.
you're talking about Scions, yeah.
I'm talking about
If you're playing Tenzin, like in Samurais, if you're playing Tenzin, you're gonna find your Hein regardless.
You don't play
This,
the other one.
yeah,
I was
not
talking
at all.
Scions 'cause I'm a meme.
Moving on, we have Goblin. Goblin.
I like this Goblin.
You want to read it?
It's cheeky.
E-
Goblin it's a Goblin. It's a 1-drop. When Goblin enters the field, you may search for a job Goblin at your hand. Dole this Goblin. Put it in the break zone. Choose a forward, deal 3K.
I wish he dealt 5K.
I split the middle 4.
5. You know why?
4.5.
This was a very good thing that Sam Prime brought up on his Twitch when I was watching it. He values cards as one card is roughly equivalent to 5K of damage or whatever. And you know what Flan does for the same thing is get rid of a card.
Yeah.
And this is just Fire's Flan.
Flan doesn't do?
It searches for a Flan. It's pay 1 dole, which you can do on the same turn.
This one you don't pay.
That's fine. Flan gets rid of a card. I think Flan's utility is more than this one. I think the only reason
This one can also search more than just that Flan.
you would use this Goblin is like obviously for that extra damage you needed to like kill something on board. Like you're like, I was like 1K off, and you're like, I'll just break the Goblin and do it. It does have a good amount of search targets. Does it just say a card Goblin or job Goblin?
Job Goblin.
Oh, cool. So it searches for Princess Goblin too. Which I know Gobohime is like, you're never gonna play it, but you like that card. I know you do.
Love Princess Goblin is one of my favorite cards.
I'm gonna put this honestly in a rough middle ground. I'll put it at a 5.
It's like a 3 for me.
I put it at a 5 just because there's a lot of different targets you can pick from, and depending on the type of deck you want to play, you could probably get away with a lot of weird ass cheeky
You
shit.
probably do a lot of weird things, especially like monsters right now. There's a lot of cool monsters.
Moving right along, we have Samurai. 3-drop 7K. Category 14. When Samurai enters the field, you can pay a fire and one other. When you do, choose a forward, deal 8K damage. Damage 3, Samurai gains 1K power and brave. So I'll fully explain why this card is like mega nuts with the next card as well. But I think this card is roughly the same as the last 3 CP Samurai forward we got that says on entry deal something 9K. But that requires you to have Samurais on fielder and break zone. This just says pay 2. So it's essentially a 5-drop 7K that 8K something on board. At damage 3 is a 5-drop 8K that 8K something, which is still really good. And it's also category 14. meaning you can still get extra swings out of it with Hein and still trigger like cyan cleaves. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna put this card at a 7.5. By itself, 7.5.
6.
I mean, that's fair. Next one.
Samurai.
2 CP backup. Pay 1, dull, put Samurai into the break zone, choose a job standard unit, forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. If it's a fire forward, costs 3 or less, play it onto the field. You know it's a fire forward that costs 3 or less, James?
Samurai?
And it's a job standard unit. Meaning, you break this, play the Samurai, and you can AK something. Yeah. And you can do that on either turn. Cool. That's what's nuts. You can remove one of their dudes and set a blocker up. Nuts. That's what's nuts.
Samurais are nuts.
Makes me want to play Sam's because of that cheeky fucking strat.
Solid 7.
Yeah, 7 to 8, I would say. Scott. I'm putting Scott in a middle ground as well. Scott's a 5. I like the card, but
when Scott enters the field, orders put to the breaks from the field to the break zone, choose a forward. A second, have that cut off on my screen.
I'm gonna let you go through that.
This one. Gains 3,000. Choose a forward. It gains 3k, and then when Scott's put from the field to the break zone, draw 2 cards of damage 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of. Is this the Rebels we were talking about? Is this supposed to be a Rebel card? That's not a Rebel card.
Scott's a prince.
But no.
Scott's a prince. No, he's a category 2. That's the thing. So I put Scott at a 5. I think the issue I have with Scott is his ETB. I think his ETB is dumb, personally.
Yeah,
it gives something 3k power until the end of turn. So like the only cool tech I imagine you doing is breaking Samurai and playing Scott. And then you're like, whoa, look at this big blocker. And then you sack Scott to draw 2, potentially, if you're at damage 3, which is cool. I think that's like the only real cool tech I can see from the get-go with it. His damage 3 ability is his coolest thing.
This is the thing we were talking about. It was like, this is supposed to be Rebellion's call, but like, there's not a whole lot of rebels.
Nope.
And for a set based around 2, all the 2 cards suck. Like, it's just lackluster.
I don't think all of them suck. It's just
they don't coincide with each other well.
Yeah, that's fair. They have to go to the other ones that are already lying out there, but like the other ones that are already lying out there are kind of like. I just think they could have done more in terms of Rebels being like a more. They could have gave us like a new Furion because they love doing that. Yeah. Fucking, we have too many of that fucking card. The mid move's like cool, but he's not that. We'll get there. Give me 1 sec. I really gotta pee. Take a break. Take a look. It's a notebook. Moving on, some more. Zenos. You like this one, right?
No.
Oh.
I don't think this one's better than the other one.
5 CP 9. I don't know how I feel about that, James. 5 CP 9k. Category 14. When Zenos enters the field, you can play a character of cost 4 from your hand onto the field. When he attacks, all the forwards other than Zenos gain 2k power until the end of turn. Yeah. Why do you like the other one? Is it because his ability to give haste?
He grabs 2 cards and gives haste. Up to 2 cards. This one will play 1 card from hand if you have one. If not, you're holding it till you have one that you want to play. And when it attacks, it just gives 2k. It doesn't gain more advantage than that. Like haste will let you attack with dudes, where this one's just gonna sit.
Okay, what's your perspective on this? Are you saying in general, or are you going off of your Scions list as well?
Going off of just the card in general, I think adding up to 2.
I don't know. I just think this one's better.
I think this one, if you have the cards that gain advantage, Zenos allows you to play more dudes on board and give you board state. But if you're playing dudes that don't do anything, you don't gain anything out of it.
I think this card's good for one reason is that Amma doesn't kill it, same as the other one, but Amma only stops you from playing a card. Amma doesn't stop you from netting cards back to hand.
Yeah, sure.
So you're really not losing much in value when you've already committed to the pay 5. I also think the ability to bump your board up by 2k is really important.
I think it can be.
I think haste is cool. I think haste is nice.
I think haste gives you a lot of different options.
But I think it's more important, personally, to bump your board up. Because, like, take 3CP Light Titus from the starter deck. Being able to bump your board up by 2k saves all of your shit from a lot. And people usually don't want to block things that are higher because they're afraid of losing their shit and not having a fair trade.
The 2 cards in your deck that do that, Yuna and the Titus. Titus plays itself for free and then searches a card.
Yuna can play herself for free and play a card.
Can play itself for free.
This plays a card.
And plays a card.
This plays a card.
Yes, yeah. It can play.
Yuna can get Ratsu'd harder than this can, though.
You're right. Actually, I think they get hit just as hard. Zenos just lives with 1,000, where...
Yuna, you've wasted 4 CP for nothing. Zenos, you've wasted 5 CP for a 9k that continuously boosts your board.
For a 9k that could still die to anything. If they're playing Ratsu, they could be playing Brynhilda and just die.
Well, they have to play... They have to have 5 CP in their hand for both.
And so it still only costed them the 3 they played for the Alma because Brynhilda replaced itself.
Yeah, but the issue is you still need 5 CP up, and nobody is going to plan out that hard for a card like this, I don't think. Nobody's going to expect... Personally, so I'm going to put this card at a 6 to 7. I think it's cool.
Yeah, 5, 6.
I personally think it's better than the other than the previous one, but...
I think you get more advantage out of the other one. This one can get you more advantage if you have the cards in your deck that gain more advantage outside of it.
That's fair.
Like if you played this to play a Squall, I see that giving you more advantage. Squall's going to immediately be able to do anything because that's haste on its own.
Or Caius.
Yeah.
Because Zenos and Caius plays another dude, so you paid 5 CP for like...
You either need to on play do something cool, Squall, Renoa, these good 4Ks that do these 4-drops that do something, or have something that gets haste and is still able to do something.
All right, fair enough.
Tifa. I will never play this card.
I think this card's nuts.
I think the card's real cool. I just think
6 CP backup. EX burst when she enters the field, choose a forward deal at 9k damage. Pay 2 fire until the end of turn. She also becomes a forward with 8k power. You can only use this ability during your turn and only once per turn. So in Avalanche, you're never gonna play this. No.
Yeah, there's never a point where you want to.
And you're never gonna play a fire Earth Avalanche deck or fire anything Avalanche deck without playing like for sure. I do think this card's really good as a generic card under any deck that plays fire as like its primary or secondary element, especially for the fact that you almost constantly have an AK forward that your opponent has to deal with. And if you play 3 fucking copies of this card, like you can pitch the other 2 to make one an AK, or you can keep hitting them as the EX burst and 9K shit. Or if you lose one, play another one. I mean, it's 6 CP, which is like the iffy part. But
6 CP that becomes a forward and kills something on board.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put her at a 7.5. I don't want to put her any higher, only for the simple fact that she does take a while to actually like net you intrinsic value. Otherwise, I think she's a pretty cool card, and I'd like to see a lot of play with her. I think she can do a lot of cool shit. Build the meme deck of all forwards when nothing's actually counts as a forward, or nothing's a forward. Next one, Berserker. 2-drop 5k. Pay a fire, gains 3k power until the end of turn. At the end of turn, break Berserker.
Card's garbage.
It's a 2.
It's a solid 1.
Pack filler. I think a 1 would be a vanilla card for me.
That's practically vanilla to me. Pay 1 to kill it at the end of the turn.
4 CP Bahamut. Choose 2 forwards. Divide 10k damage among them as you like. If you receive 5 points of damage or more, divide 15 damage among them as you like in increments of 1k. If I'm correct. I don't know how I feel about that. So I think it's good as a cleanup. I don't think it's good as a kill.
I think
it's not an EX burst either, because like theoretically, if you play 4 CP Bahamut, that 9Ks, I'd rather do that and guarantee that something dies than having to divide 10k and feel bad that there's some extra damage left on something.
1K. It still kills something.
It kills one thing, but like, what are you gonna do with the extra? It just feels like you're paying for more you don't need.
If they block, something dies.
Yeah, but what if it trades? What does it matter?
Well, that's the point. You're trading 2 dudes for the cost of 1 dude.
Yeah, but like, what if it was going to trade? Because a lot of power levels currently are just sitting at 8. So if you swing with an 8 and they block with an 8, it would have died anyways, even if you 1K'd it.
Yeah. Well, it gives you 9K to deal with, or you can 8K the 8K, add 2K onto something else.
I think the damage 5 is the best time to use this. Obviously, if you use it before, I personally feel like it's just awkward.
I feel like it can clean up, and if you play it right, you can take out 2 dudes for free.
Because damage 5, you can AK 7K, which feels a lot better than
I still feel like it's
5K 5K.
Jet Bahamut.
What did I put this at? I'll put it at like a 5. If it was an EX burst, it'd be a lot better.
100%.
Jet Bahamut. 4 drop 8K. When Jet Bahamut enters the field, choose a forward deal at 5K damage. If it's put from field to break zone this turn, remove it from the game instead. Damage 3 when it enters the field, choose a card name Garnet Bahamut or Amber Bahamut in your break zone. Play it onto the field to say dull.
What?
What?
Okay, is there a Bahamut engine?
There's a 3-card Bahamut engine.
Okay.
Play it onto the field, not dull. Sick. It's under 2 colors. The engine's under fire and ice, which is kind of cool. I think the engine's cool if you can keep pinging shit and removing it, but honestly, if you're not playing the engine, this card's not worth it.
At least for this one, it doesn't activate till damage 3.
It doesn't do anything good till damage 3.
Yeah, so like...
You can 5K it forward, so like theoretically you could pay 4 CP for an 8K body that kills like a Ramza without crystals, a Laswell, and Adelard.
It dies during the same turn, so like that's not terrible.
Yeah, like it kills / removes a lot of the 2-drops, because a lot of 2-drops currently they've been balancing out at around 5K, so they're easier to deal with, which is smart, personally. Without his engine, he's not that good, and even with his engine, I personally wouldn't put him as high. I'm going to put this at like a 6.5.
Yeah. I'd say it's probably like a 4 or 5, really.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
I think waiting until damage 3 is really slow right now. A lot of decks do it, but a lot of decks get more out of waiting until damage 3 than this does.
Yeah.
In this games.
You ready for this next one?
Hein!
I'm going to let you take the reins on this.
I'm going to play some Hein's catch-up. Hein's 57. Hein is if you control 5 or more fire characters and or category 14 characters, Hein gains haste. When Hein attacks, activate all the category 14 forwards you control. Until the end of turn they gain this forward can attack twice. Nuts!
Yeah. So you swing with all your shit, swing with Hein, restand it, and go back again. Or you could just swing with it anyways to start off first and let everybody attack twice regardless. And he's a samurai.
They'd have to be brave. They'd have to get brave.
Why? He restands.
He restands on attack, so he can't attack first.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not super worried. One of the samurais technically gets it from like Gotetsu.
Do you know what this card lets attack twice?
Yida?
The 4 attacker. The lightning primal. Ravana.
Oh, Ravana.
It can attack 2 of its 4 times.
I mean, yeah, it's a 14. Unless you break something else, you can like break a samurai and play a samurai and then fucking restand it again for more attacks. It's just a better way of having to break shit constantly.
Hein is incredibly good.
Yeah, this card's a solid 9, personally.
Solid 8 to 9, yeah. Especially good inside.
Yeah, moving along. This is one I like.
Yeah.
Sabin, technical 4 CP 8K. Static. The cost required to cast Sabin is reduced by 1 for each category 6 character you control. Cannot become 0, and then. Chakra special, activate all the forwards other than Sabin you control. They gain 2k power until the end of turn. Nuts. Aura Cannon special, choose a forward deal 8k damage. So if you're playing Emperor Gestalt or Gestalt Emperor Sid, you play Setzer as the backup because you can pick up any category from your break zone. You can put Edgar on field, or probably like anybody really, but just with those 2, he costs 2. Just with the backups. He's a 2 cost, which I think is nuts. A 2 cost 8K is already well beyond curve. And if you have copies that you want to ditch, the ability to swing with your board and then go, hey, fuck you, I'll restand my board and they all gain 2K is nuts, because generally your guys are 7 to 8s, so then they become 9 to 10s and they can trade with anything, or they're bigger than the other guys. On top of Aura Cannon just being able to deal 8K. He is very reliant on being in his category, though.
100%.
So as much as I would love to put this card super high, I put him at like 7 to 8, only because he's stuck in his category.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be too nuts in my opinion. Mystic Knight, 2 CP, fire backup. Pay or fire dull, put it into the break zone, choose 4, deal it 4k damage. If you received a point of damage this turn, deal it 8k damage instead.
This card's really neat with things like Fusoya.
Okay, yeah. I had to think for Opus 3 Fusoya. Yeah. The 3 CP light backup. Yeah. I think this card is generically good, so I'm going to put it at a 5.
I was going to say 4.
It's cool. If you're playing cards in your deck that hurts you, it's cool, and it works on your opponent's turn too, so theoretically you can just pay 2 and be like, I'll 8k your dude because you hurt me. It's the same as playing like 2 CP Odin and eating that point of damage so you can break a 4k, you know? But yeah, I'd put it at like a 5. Next one, Merilith. First strike, when you receive a 5th point of damage... Is this an EX? No, she's not. Okay, when you receive a 5th point of damage, you can pay a fire player onto the field dull, only playable if she's in your break zone. What are your thoughts? We kind of talked about this.
The first strike's really cool with her.
I think it's... First
strike is something that plays itself is really neat.
I guess the issue I have is you have to already have your board set up so you don't go past damage 5 for this to function. Otherwise, it's such a waste. Yeah, because by that point...
wait until damage 5.
Yeah, you have to wait until the 5th damage. So if your opponent's smart and they're just playing anything that can selectively remove them, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
You have to pitch these guys before you it's the most meta game call you can make to be like, I know I'm going only to 5 damage and I will only get there, and then you stall.
Is set up a board of like 5 backups that just color fix anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you would take your 5th damage and go Merilith,
Tiamat, Lich, Kraken.
All of these and just dump them on the board at damage 5. It's like, boss monster ball. Continue your turn, please.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just the issue is you can't go you can't go past that 5th point. If you go past that 5th point, it's not worth it.
Oh, yeah. It's too slow.
Your opponent's sitting.
It's okay to have 1 or 2.
It'd feel really bad, kind of funny, but it's never gonna happen for like Sid FFBE to be a. Spine Shatter Drive only costs a crystal plus the win. Nuts. 10k and deal them a point. Continuing to like sit on your opponent's field. Nobody's ever gonna fucking do it, but like you're not allowed to play these at that point because like they'll just get 9k'd off the board.
Oh yeah. It's very lackluster.
This is so situational, and it's below curve for me personally.
I think I haven't seen all of them. Merilith right now with first strike makes her okay as a target.
I'd put her at a 4.
I think it's a 5. Dump it on the board with first strike and block, and have it for a blocker.
I just don't want to pay 5 CP for that.
You don't.
She's a 5 cost.
She's a 1 cost at damage 5.
Yeah, that comes in dull.
Oh, that's garbage. Oh god, I didn't realize it came in dull. Why would you want it to come in dull?
That's what makes it so bad, is because she comes in dull and not active too.
Just make it pay 5 and then come in active.
I'd rather just do that, honestly.
Or pay 3, come in active, right? Pay a little bit more, but not her full cost to come in active. Dude,
even pay 2 coming active at damage 5 would be fine. The issue is I think the thing holding her back is that it's damage 5. Like that's the big cost.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's a specific damage point. You have to have her in break zone.
Yeah, and it's only at that damage point. It can't.
And then they're like, she comes in dull and doesn't have an ETB.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
The first strike's really cool if she came in active.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. It'd be one of the best defensive pieces.
It'd be like a princess, undead princess. It's a very cool one of that gets you out of a situation real quickly.
Yep.
Or at least your opponent has to deal with it before they proceed to kill you.
Yeah. Moving, we have Montblanc. 3-drop backup fire, because we're still on fire. When Montblanc enters the field, you can pay X. When you do so, search for a card named Herdy of cost X played onto the field. You can only use ICP to pay for cost X. So it can play...
It's forcing 2 color, which is cool.
Yeah, it can play... are they both 2-drop Herdys? So the new 2-drop Herdy, which is kind of cool, or the old one that just says reveal top card, grab a character, and then break him for an FFTA2.
Yeah, probably. That one's probably better. I haven't read the new one yet, though.
The new one's actually kind of nuts. But With the way you want to do this, I think Fire Ice is a really good combination. I think Montblanc being able to search and play a backup in the same turn is nuts. I'd put this card at a easy 7, highest 8, just because it's a backup searcher that plays you the backup for the right cost. It doesn't overpay.
What FFTA looks like right now, FFTA 2.
Well, it doesn't even need to be TFT. It's just the fact that because I think in Fire Ice in general, this is nuts. Especially with when you see the new Herdy, you'll be like, that's kind of nuts. Because the new Herdy's big action ability is pay a fire, pay an ice, dull break him, and play a 5-cost fire or ice forward onto the field.
Okay, I guess that's right.
Which is nuts.
FFTA 2 was better. Montblanc was better.
Yeah. All right, James, this one's yours.
Ah, yeah. We're gonna talk about my dog.
I'm gonna leave the starter deck stuff out just because it's already out and stuff. But
Red 13. When Red 13 enters the field, you may discard 1 card. If you do, choose a 4, deal it 7k. And then when Red enters the field, you can pay a fire, pay 1. When you do so, choose a 4, deal it 7k. So it can 14k something. You can deal 7k twice. It's a very strong card. I love this card. It's a 2-drop 7 character. Red, it's going to be fire again for our nice Avalanche deck that needs more good fire targets.
I don't even think your Avalanche deck needs more good fire targets. Your Avalanche deck needs more removal than just Cloud.
Yeah.
And maybe Wedge.
Removal.
Yeah.
It gives me a 2-drop removal. The best part about this card, besides being fire and being a 7, is that it replaces Blaze. Though I don't get the X-Burst, it's cheaper than Blaze.
Is it, though?
It is.
For the full effect, it costs 6.
For the full effect, it's the same.
For the full effect, it costs 6.
2, 3.
2, you discard a card, then you pay 2.
Okay, sure. But I keep it on board.
You get 2 7Ks.
I don't lose.
That's yeah. You get 2 7K triggers, which is 14 instead of 10, right?
And I get to keep my backup.
And you can choose the same target. So for essentially a 2 CP extra, you get. You don't have to split it up because it says choose up to 2 on Blaze. So Red 13, what do you put him at?
Solid 7, 6, 7.
7.
Yeah. I told you I really like this card.
Yeah,
I think it's
I'd put it at like a 7.
Outside of the X-Burst, it's a very good replacement for Blaze.
Actually, I'd probably put it at like a 6 or so. I just think the paying the 2 extra CP is cool. It feels a little much like having to discard, but if you're playing it in Avalanche, the discard doesn't hurt you as much anyways. Oh, great. My computer doesn't want to show me the Square Enix site anymore. That's fantastic. Moving on. On to Ice. Amaro. 2-drop 9K. Busted. Amaro.
I hate Pictologica so much.
See, so here, let me tell you this because this is funny. Fuck. Hold on. The review that was posted into the NA group, like first set impressions, it was real funny when it opened with, as much as I'm mentally conditioned to think all Pictologica cards are bad, this Amaro is kind of alright. I'm like...
I hate Pictologica because it always looks like WAF characters, and I want WAF.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. So, 2-drop 9K, category 6. Under Ice, must attack once per turn if possible, and then when he enters the field, if you control 4 or less category 6 characters, discard a card. Dull, put him into the break zone, your opponent discards 2 cards from hand. Straight up, I'm putting this card at an 8. It's a 2-drop 9K, which you can just use to beat your opponent down with. If anything, it's a 4-drop 9K. He counts himself as if you control 4 or less, meaning you can play him as your 5th and you're still fine. You have 2 backups. You have 2, maybe even 3 backups theoretically you can play, or you can play Cyan forward, so he has Brave, so you can always use his Dull whenever. Discarding a card feels bad, but if you play Edgar, you can kind of just recoup it, so it's not as bad. But I think his Dull to put him in break zone and your opponent discards 2 is nuts.
Crazy.
Because the issue that opponents would run into is there's this big fucking 9-drop on the field, so you could theoretically just be like, I'll block with this Amaro, and then I'll break my Amaro, and I'll make you ditch 2. So you get the faux block, which you have an issue with, which... It's a funny thing. You get your faux block, and then you also get 2 cards out of their hand, so you're saving yourself a point of damage. Can my computer please load these images back up? No? Okay. Moving on.
A 2-drop that just discards 2 is nuts.
Yeah. Scholar?
No. Amaro.
Oh. Scholar's kind of nuts.
Scholar's okay.
2-drop, 5k. When Scholar enters the field, you can pay an ice. When you do so, your opponent randomly discards 1 card, which I think is kind of nuts. Damage 3, ice, dull, choose a forward, dull it. So, going back to Sam Prime's Twitch stream as well, because this was an interesting thing I didn't think of. Usually when you play this, say for instance, you built a Unalesca in. Yeah. And this card's essentially 3 CP. So you have like a Unalesca and another backup. And on the turn after you build those 2 cards, you use Unalesca, yep. And you pitch, they pitch. And they're going to pitch some shitty card they don't need. Yep. Meaning their good cards are still in their hand. You play this, pay the CP, and now that good card has a higher chance of randomly just getting shit out of their hand. Because they don't get to pick what goes away. Yeah. Zidane's really good because Zidane lets you pick and shows their hand. This card is good because if you play it right, then they...
Under ice, you can limit the amount of...
you limit their options hella fucking hard. And I think that's really nuts. I would put this card probably at like a 5 to 6. Same. But if you play it right, it's really cool.
It has a lot of potential. That's for sure. Super Soldier.
I'll let you take that one. It's pretty simple. I'm giving Super Soldier. It's a 5k that becomes an AK, so
one or more
it's like a 3.
Soldier in break zone, it gains 3k.
What's its cost?
2.
2? Yeah, it's like a 3.
It's a 2k, 8k basically.
You know what makes this card cool? You mean 2-drop 8k? Is Shinryu Celestia. Because you have this 2-drop 8k, and then if it ever dies, you can neg something by 3. So you can block bigger dudes. It dies and neg them by 3. Or on play, if you decide to sack this because your opponent's going to kill it anyways, you neg something by 7 and then by 3 as well, so you can neg something by 10. But like honestly, it's okay. I wouldn't go any higher.
I'd say like maybe like a 4.
Yeah. Next we have Edward.
Probably the best card in the set.
This card's fucking insane, and the reason it's insane, it's not even its ability, it's its cost. It's a 2-drop.
2-drop that just says dull.
2-drop dull. Choose a card in your opponent's break zone, remove it from game. Here's the thing. It's a 2 cost. If it was a 3 cost, it'd be on curve and it'd be just a bit slower, so it'd be more of a fair card. This card's not fair because you can turn 1 play this, and then for the rest of the game, if you felt like it, constantly picking cards out of your opponent's break zone that they never gain access to. That's why things like Alba is cool, because Alba says on play you remove a summon and you can remove another one. Alba's interactable, the 2-drop backup isn't.
Alba is not reactionary, it's pro-actionary.
Yeah.
You do it beforehand.
Edward's very reactionary.
And react with it.
They'll be like, Madam Edel, here's my target. And you're like, no.
Remove target.
The only issue I see with Edward is that it can create a state where you'll have turns or where you're playing with 1 less backup, essentially, because you're holding out on Edward.
Edward is not a real backup on board.
Yeah.
Depending on the deck you're playing. The other issue I want to look into.
I say you just play around the turns you're on, right? You play around what their board state is, and if you feel like you can dole them. If you don't, keep them up. You don't always need them.
I also want to know: do abilities choose by card name or by specific card board? So if Madam Metal says, "I'm going to play this Amber for my discard pile,"
I think it chooses a specific Amber.
Okay.
I think it has to choose a specific card, like cardboard card. Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Because well, it doesn't work with Nyx because the cost is to remove, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, Kingsglaive also gets fucked up this set, which kind of hurts.
Oh yeah.
But the thing Kingsglaive has is that it's also an action, so it's more reactionary and proactive, and the cost is already to remove, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, Edward, solid fucking 9.
Oh yeah, 9.
Ice needed a way to be able to deal with things efficiently, and I think it's a really good card for it.
Do it more often or more cards than just the one, I'd say 10, but like 9's fine.
Moving on.
Didn't go
Curry was it? I'm bad at names. When he's a 5-drop 8k, kind of off. When he enters the field, gain a crystal. When a forward the opponent controls is put from the field to the break zone, gain a crystal. This effect will only trigger once per turn, and then pay 3 crystals, dull and freeze all the characters your opponent controls. You can only use this ability during your turn. So, here's my issue. He's immediately open to Amma.
100%.
100%. He's open to Amma every time a forward that your opponent controls is put from field to break zone. He's open to Ama on entry, which I think is gross. And the only redeeming factor currently is his
Roll and freeze
everything. He does what Eduardo and Hope do in one card.
Yep.
Because it takes Hope and Eduardo to dull in 3.
But,
Yeah.
well, like we've already been playtesting once. It's not hard for the FFB deck to be able to get that many crystals.
No, they can fucking generate 1 crystal a fucking turn easily. I mean, they'll probably spend them, but like it doesn't matter when you have a card that says gain 2 on play.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if your opponent
Like,
keeps
every
putting it
single
back in your
one
deck.
gain a crystal anyways.
Generally speaking, yeah. So honestly, I don't think this card's going to do too much on its own as is, and I don't even think this card's going to get very far in this set.
Yeah,
it might be in
it's a
future
very
sets.
good one of
Yeah.
If you're able to play it on board,
It's an
inside your
ender.
colors,
It's nothing more than an ender.
yeah. It's a. I'm gonna put this out. If you don't deal with it, I win next turn.
Yep.
It's
So
very much so that.
I'm putting this at personally. I hate to do it, but I'm putting it at a 3.
I
just-
say 6. I think it's still a very good card.
I think it's only good for its bottom enhance. It's
Yeah,
just
still
like
good for its bottom enhance, but its bottom enhances.
its bottom enhance is nuts. But I mean, if you don't have the crystals, what do you do?
Yeah.
It just kind of sits there. The next one,
Shiva.
I'm gonna let you take that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Shiva. Select one of the 2 following actions. You choose one dull forward of 2 or less, and break it. Your opponent discards a card, which is crazy good. Kill a dude, make them discard. Nuts. Choose one forward. If it deals damage other than battle damage to a forward this turn, the damage becomes 0. Very good at protecting your cards. This card is very good. Shiva needed a good kill option. I think the last one was very good. I think this one's good. It's only 2 cost or less, but a lot of the good cards you want to hit right now are... A lot of the good cards you could hit right now are 2 cost or less. Like Palamporm are really good. Mashari before it got banned. Rydia. Along with Aerith. There's a lot of really good 2-drop forwards right now that this card can hit. And just having your opponent discard a card as well is nuts. Also, protection of dudes is crazy. Instant 3 of them in my deck.
I mean, you just like Shiva also.
Yeah,
So I think this card is cool.
Where's my full art?
The only issue I have is that it has to be a dull forward of cost 2 or less.
Oh, yeah.
And generally 2 costs aren't ever attacking, so you're gonna have to already force a dull on them to get the break.
Yep. It's why
Making them discard's cool because it's a counter to like Brynhildr, right? Brynhildr will draw you. This will end up making them discard, so they lose advantage instead of you gaining, technically.
this card's very good. So this card I think works very well with Terra. In the sense of I'll play something else to kill something else, dull your 2-drop, play this, kill your 2-drop, discard your card.
Yeah.
For the Shiva deck I'm playing with Terra, it works very well.
Yeah. Personally, I'd put it
And the ability
in
to protect your dude.
I'm not as biased towards Shiva's. It only protects from damage though.
Yeah, it can't protect from battle damage, but it protects things from like
Getting
There's
pinged,
Susanoo?
but it doesn't.
Nah.
It doesn't protect like straight breaks or lifting or bouncing.
Yeah, that's fine. It protects from board wipes.
That's fair. Protects a dude from board
Shinryu
wipes.
Can't kill anything. Susanoo doesn't kill anything.
Shinryu kills on. See, the issue with
I can't
Shinryu
kill
is
anything.
Shinryu has 2 ways you need to deal with it: the initial
Yeah,
on
but
play, and then that
If
next
I can deal
turn.
with the initial, I should be fine. Most of my decks work well after dealing with the initial. Like not being able to deal to like Shinryu, Susanoo, Titan, any of the
You want to be able to keep
samurais.
somebody there, yeah.
Yeah, and on a 2-drop that does it, nuts.
I'm gonna say 5 to 6.
I'm definitely going 7-8.
Yeah, I figured. I don't know how to pronounce names ever.
This is Calautodon?
Sure, we'll roll with that. When he enters the field, choose a forward, dull it. Pay 2 ice, pay 2 dull, put it in the break zone, choose a dull forward, and break it. So it's pay 4 to dull a forward,
Yeah.
or to break a dull forward, and then it dulls a forward. So like you could do it in the same turn theoretically because it's a monster.
Yep.
So it's pay 5, break a forward.
Yep. Not that great.
Yeah, it's very fodder-ish.
It's very.
I'd rather play Corel that says dull freeze,
Yep.
and it becomes a monster at damage 3
Having a
or a
good-
forward at
having a
damage
card
3.
That breaks though isn't terrible. It's just it's like lackluster.
It costs too much.
Yeah.
Moving along,
This other decent card.
Oh, I love this card. 1 drop, 9K, category 5. Right? Category 5, is it? The cost required to cast him is increased by 1 for each card in your opponent's hand, same as lightning. And then when he enters the field, your opponent has 3 more cards in their hand. Your opponent reveals their hand, select 1 card in their hand other than a backup, and discard it.
This card just selectively gets rid of cards from your opponent's hand, which is nice.
And it's a 1-drop 9K, which is also nuts. If you're playing in a deck that has any sort of discard, or you're like backswinging, this card's insane to play. I put this card at like easy 7, highest 8. Just if it's played a lot of these cards are if they're played properly. Oh, yeah. So moving on, Setzer is a 4-drop 8K that says when he enters the field, select a card type. Then your opponent discards a card from hand. If the discarded card is the same as the named card type, you draw 1. And then Guild Toss, special, pay an ice, choose a forward, remove the top card of your deck from the game, then deal it 3k damage for each CP required to cast it. He's very standalone. He can function by himself without the 6 engine, which is cool. I think his ability you can name like forward, and your opponent will discard anything but a forward because they don't want you to draw, generally speaking. Or you name backup, they'll discard anything but that because generally people don't want your opponent drawing games in a card game. Or drawing cards in a card game. Who would have thought? So like you can mind play around it and stuff, but honestly, I don't think he's super efficient. I'd put him at like a 5 to 6.
I was gonna say 4.
Nah, you're treating him like shit.
He's weak.
Sarah, which we have another one.
Yeah.
5 CP 8K, a little weird, but when she enters the field, reveal top 5 cards of your deck, add a backup among them to your hand, or play a job Moogle backup among them onto the field, and when she attacks, choose a character, dull it, and freeze it. If you control 4 more backups, your opponent discards as well. So I think her attack trigger is super cool. Her on-entry is kind of meh, but her on-entry functions for the way she plays because she's a very Moogle-based... She's a very... Yeah, she's a very Moogle-based character with a lot of her cards anyways.
Oh, yeah.
And she has specific Moogles that she plays.
Really well too, 'cause you get to play a bunch of Moogles.
Yep. Mason will love this card.
I actually think she is nuts because you get to play Kefka at 5 backups, automatically just dole something for free.
Her ability to just say on swing dull freeze, and then oh dude, I had 4 backups, you'll pitch as well, is nuts. She's an 8K, which balances it out a bit, but for a legend, she's actually not that bad. She's really good. I'd put her at an 8.
I'd say 7.
8 to 9, just because she also nets you a card or plays you a backup for free. Terra.
She's on my fathers.
3 CP 7K. When Terra enters the field, choose a summon in your break zone removed from the game. If you do so, place a Magitek counter on Terra, and then remove a Magitek counter from Terra. As an action, Terra gains 5k power until the end of turn. She's sadly like a 5.
She's honestly 2.
Nah, I mean that's fair. It's if she had if she had a way to constantly add Magitek counters, I think she'd be great.
She'd be like a 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
she can do that. Like, she does it once.
I say she's a 5 only because she also gets that ability to like use your break zone as the resource instead, which is kind of good.
Yeah, we have to remove summons.
Yeah, but people aren't fucking targeting summons and break zones. They're targeting other things. So like.
Yeah, but like, what's it get you? A 12k for a turn? Like
might be worth it depending.
I don't think so.
It's whatever. I stand by my choice. Time Mage 2 CP. Yeah, 2 CP backup that says dull or pay 1, dull it, put Time Mage in the break zone, choose a job standard unit forward. Here, break zone, add it to your hand. If it's a ice forward, it costs 3. It's the same as Samurai. You'll play it onto the field. Super cool. It's not as cool as Samurai because Samurai has cooler targets and has more synergy, but I would put this at a base 5.
Let's say 4.
Because I don't think there's a lot of ice standard units that I want to play, but I could be wrong. Next is Herdy. 2 CP. Dull. Put Herdy into the break zone, choose a forward, dull, and freeze it. Pay a fire, pay an ice, put Herdy into the break zone. Dull, put Herdy into the break zone. Play a fire or ice forward to cost 5 or less from your hand onto the field. That's why I think Herdy's nuts.
She's very...
In the colors that you, or the elements that you play Herdy, this card is insane. Because you can either A, play the 5 CP Laswell for whatever fucking reason, because it counts as both, who cares. You can play Sultheus, and then use Sultheus to play another dude. So you pay 2 CP for like, essentially 4 to 9 CP worth of dudes.
Yeah.
And all you lost was a backup, which is fine, because you're probably going to have more in your deck anyways. Or not, and you just replace it with something else, which I think is fine.
Play a Zenos, which will play a Soul. Which will play another dude?
Yeah. Like,
Which will play a squad?
you could play Zenos, which plays a Caius, which plays a Soul, which plays another dude. Like, you could go down this line. You need the cards in hand, but you could do it. As long as you have that crystal, that Soul's active. Next one is Garnet Bahamut and Amaro Bahamut. I'm just going to do both of them. They are 3 drops, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 3 drop 7Ks when if a jobbed winged chaos forward you control deals damage to a forward with Garnet Bahamut, the damage is increased by 3k instead. So now Jet Bahamut does 8k. When Garnet Bahamut is put from field to break zone, you can search for a card named Jet Bahamut or card named Amber Bahamut, add it to hand. Amber Bahamut, if the job winged chaos forwards you control gain, this forward is dealt damage, reduce the damage by 2k instead, and then if it's put to the break zone, you can search for a Jet or Garnet. Overall, yeah, they're still very lackluster. If Jet was more stable, I think it'd be, maybe if they had like one more Bahamut, I think it'd be fine.
They had like almost like a boss Bahamut,
Jet is their boss Bahamut.
like a real boss Bahamut.
I put them at 5s only because in their respective like through like sealed or draft, they're not terrible, but
Yeah, but sealed draft is very limited.
yeah. Next is Harley.
Even in this set, sealed and draft is not good for them either.
I mean,
There's
I
so
guess
much discard removal. You're never gonna get anything cool to go.
fair enough. Harley 2 drop backup. Put Harley into the break zone. Each player discards a card. At the end of turn, each player draws one. Only usable during your turn. So the issue I see is that I'd rather just leave it at a discard and nobody draws. Personally.
The issue I see is why not just play Unalesca?
Yeah.
It doesn't go into
The only other reason you would play Harley is for that extra discard and for the chance to cycle through your deck. Or maybe your opponent's holding on to something and you know they are, and that's just the way to get around it. But like,
at that point, it's still the same solution.
yeah.
Why not play Unalesca?
Honestly, I would give this a 2.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it. White Tiger Lassie, Cumin? Kunmi?
I love cumin on my food. Kunmi?
Kunmi. What is it, a 2 or 3 drop? It's a 3 drop, right? 3 drop 7k. If your opponent has 3 or less cards in their hand, White Tiger Lassie gains 2k power and Brave. If your opponent has 1 or less cards in their hand, White Tiger Lassie cannot be broken.
The not be broken part's real cool.
Nope.
Okay.
You know what? The only reason I say that is because on your opponent's turn, they're going to draw 2 cards.
Uh-huh.
And then they can use backups to deal with it.
The idea is it has Brave, so you can swing without having to worry about it dying. And then it sits on your board for defense. And then on your turn, you drop them back down to 1.
And then they hit it with a Blaze. And then they stack a Samurai on top of the Blaze or something. Like it.
And it can't be broken.
Yeah, if they have 2 cards in hand, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's the issue. I think if it said 3 or less cards in their hand can't be broken, and then 1 or less 2k in Brave, I'd be fine with that.
I think it'd be nuts if it was that.
I think if they swapped it, it'd be fun.
It's easy to have somebody that 3 cards in hand. Your opponent goes, I drew for turn, I have 5 cards in hand. I'll pitch 2 to play 1, I have 2 cards in hand. Or I'll pitch 1 to play 1. Tap 2 dudes on board, play a 4-drop.
All right, sure.
3 cards in hand.
Fair.
3 for no
I just-
nuts.
I don't know. Card seems...
I think
It only works in one specific type of deck.
If you have the ability to hand control on your opponent's turn, this card's really good.
Yeah, otherwise it's like a 5. If you can hand control, it's like an 8.
I don't think you're going to play it very often unless you have a specific deck that does it.
Moving on, we have Fencer, which is what, 2? Yeah, 2 CP backup. Dull, put Fencer in the break zone, choose a dull forward, deal 4k damage. If you receive a point of damage this turn, deal 8k damage. So it's the same as, what was the fire one? The...
Samurai?
No. Fuck.
Fighter?
I'm almost positive Fire had a Berserker? No.
Berserker was the terrible one.
Mystic Knight. Same as the Mystic Knight.
Okay. Yeah, bad.
It's okay. I'd put it at a 5. It's very balanced.
4.
It's a fair card. Mog. 13-2. When Mog enters the field, remove the top card of your deck from the game. You can cast it this turn. The cost required to cast it is reduced by 2. It's a 2 CP backup, right?
That's a 3.
Oh, it's a 3 CP backup.
It's a 1-drop.
Mog is not a 1-drop.
Sorry. No, sorry. Remove the top card.
Yeah, the card you play it costs less. So, like, honestly, it's cool. It's very nice. If you play it with Sarah, it's really good synergy.
I think it's actually extremely good inside of the Wind Ice Storm.
That's fair.
And then if you want to, you can...
Because if you're playing Barreleye, your next card costs 2 less, and if it happens to be something that activates shit, it's really good.
Well, Barreleye's... Oh, you mean if Barreleye's on board, yeah.
Yeah.
A Barreleye you can't play for 1 CP.
Barreleye being a 1 CP card ain't ever happening.
The other funny thing is, if you wanted to, with that deck, you could use Althea and pick it back up to play it again.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good.
Always have extra cards.
Have this entire the only issue is that it's only that turn that you can cast it.
Oh, yeah, sure. So you play your dude. End of your opponent's turn, pick it back up.
I mean, if you're playing a Tomos, it doesn't matter. Because if that's the second card you cast, you restand your backups. Or if Mog was the second card you cast, you restand your backups.
Yes.
At least 2 of them, so.
And then on your opponent's turn, you just Althea back to your hand. Make sure you play Althea during your turn and play it during your turn. They'll both stand because of a Tomos.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to worry about it.
Yep. Yotsu 5-drop 6K? You should just have the card images.
I do.
Oh.
It has to load, and then I have to switch.
It takes time. 5-drop 6K. EX burst. When Yotsu enters the field, choose a forward. Your opponent doesn't discard a card. Break it. Is she any? Oh, she is an EX. So 7.
5. The problem with the card is it's a 5 cost. It does have EX burst, which is neat. It's a 5 cost that doesn't guarantee breaking something, and doesn't guarantee discarding anything, which leaves that a split decision up to your opponent, which means it never exactly follows your game plan.
I think it's fine because if it comes to playing the card, you're going to play the card at the most optimal times you can. You're not just going to play it to play it. So, like, you're not going to be like, oh, they have 2 forwards and fucking 5 cards in hand. No, you're never going to play it then.
Being a 5 cost, to me, just does not make me want to play it.
That isn't it, yeah. But she's an EX burst too, so like you have to compensate somewhere.
EX burst makes it okay, but like you still are at that point where it's just like, I would rather hit this off in the EX burst than have it in my hand.
Obviously, yeah.
I would never want this in my hand unless my opponent has 1 card in hand, 1 dude on board, or no cards in hand, 1 dude on board.
All right, that's fair. I'll say 5.
So if I can discard my opponent's entire hand, this card's nuts. But it's still a 5 cost, which means I have to expend to get them down to 0 and then play it.
Yeah. Moving on to the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Now you see what it looks like. Legendary Turk. Job member Turks, 2 CP, 5K forward. Each forward you control with a Turks counter gains 5K power. Nuts. Discard 2 cards. Choose a category 7 forward you control. Place a Turks counter on it. Not so nuts. Action. Put them into the break zone. Choose a forward. Break it. Only usable if it has a Turks counter. So you're essentially paying 6 CP for a 2-drop 10K that can Gilgamesh.
You know what? I found a way to make this better.
Really?
Yeah. I found a way that this could have been better. Not make it better right now.
Oh.
The way it could have been better.
Boo.
Is if it was a backup and you tapped it and discarded 1.
To gain the counter?
To gain the counter.
I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah. Or like,
the discard 2 feels so bad.
Discard 2 feels so bad. And being a 5K forward.
But honestly, if you use the discard 2 reactively, I think it's fine.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it makes it to where almost always he's going to be the first target you use your ability on. Yeah. Which means all your other things are weak to anything.
I mean, the Turks lineup is honestly, in my opinion, the Turks lineup is kind of fine already anyways. Yeah. But I get where you're coming from. I put him at a 5, 6 in his lineup if used properly. You're still playing him though because he's a fucking job member Turks and you can free play him off Sung. Yes. No reason not to.
And having the ability to sometimes make something unkillable, neat.
And having the ability to sometimes just play him because of Rufus is also neat. Rufus gives you, with this new set, 6 different Turks you can play.
The extra cool part is if you have many cards in hand, there's no limit to it.
There's no limit to it.
You can play it as many times as you want. Maybe
you play him on turn 1 and you just go, fuck it, bitch, pitch. That's a beefy bitch. Like, hope you're playing Lightning with Odin's. Yeah, 5 currently. And then we move to Wind.
I can't wait for you to have to pick up 3 full arts of this card. Especially when you haven't picked up the Mayakovs yet, or the Lilithets.
What? I have the highest on Mayakovs. He doesn't have full
doesn't
arts.
have full art?
No.
Lilithset does.
Lilithset has a promo full art.
You need to get that.
That's fucking bad. That's dangerous for me.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Can I get my win, please?
Okay. So Dancer has a full art. When Dancer enters the field, you can pay a wind. If you do so, choose 3 characters and activate them. Damage 3, duel 1 active Dancer or card name Dancer, Job Dancer or card name Dancer. Choose a 4 to get 1,000 power until the end of turn. I think this card's a little lackluster compared to the fact that it has a full art, but having the ability to activate a bunch of things is nuts. And sometimes just needing an extra 1,000k or just to protect your things from choose duel or active or whatever is really good.
Here's why I think it's good.
Okay.
When I play dancers, one of the biggest issues I have is I can't put enough dancers on the field because I just can't pay the CP fast enough.
Yeah,
This saying ready 3 backups to play another fucking dancer so little set goes 8k the board? Nuts. Put this card at a 6 though. With the damage 3 active, it's a 7.
Tap everything to Lilith at the board. Play this. Ready 3. Lilith at the board again.
Because this is active, so you just restand. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
It does give you a bunch of different options. And it's
It also gives you the chance. It gives you the chance to effectively deal with things, besides just using Lilith's dull ability, right? Yep. Because now you can dull a dancer. Your Mayakov's a 9k, and you can just block into shit. Yep. It doesn't feel bad because Mayakov's not having those fair trades anymore.
You can also play as many copies of this fucking shit as you want.
Yeah, you could. It's multiplayable. It's really cool, and I just like, man, I really have to pee a lot.
You should get that checked out.
No, it's just I'm drinking a lot of water today.
Stop that, especially when your mouth hurts.
Can't help it. I need to drink. It helps cool the mouth. Next one.
Onion Knights.
Yeah, I'll let you take that one.
Wow. You realize it's been 3 times in less than like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, I know. You like Onion Knight.
Onion Knight. When Onion Knight enters the field, choose 1 forward. It gains this forward cannot attack or block until the end of turn. Duel. Return Onion Knight to its hand. Play 1 forward. It costs 3 or 4 from your hand on the field. So the abilities that I like on this card is tap, play a 4-drop, which is really good in the sense of we want to play the other Onion Knight that allows us to remove 3 to burn or kill something off. And we want the ability to make something not attack or block, which is also very, very strong. This card is very, very cool in the fact of it can play that multicolor for free, which I think is very neat, and it only costs you 2. I can't wait to actually find a way to build this Onion Knight deck now. This thing lets you play the 3-drop for the 4-drop for free.
Yep.
It's so dumb. I actually get to play Onion Knights now.
They gave you a fire and a win one. They're new.
Yes.
The only issue is this one. What is this Onion Knight? What's its job?
Doesn't matter. It's Onion Knight.
It does matter.
I can't read it. It's something.
Ninja and Warrior of Light.
Yeah.
So it's cool because you could still play it with the ninja package as well.
Yep.
And then your sages are still fine just sitting in your deck.
Yep.
The only thing is it doesn't have haste, so if they deal with it immediately, they deal with it immediately because it's a fucking 5k.
Yep. It's a very cool card to throw down on turn 1.
Be like, answer it now.
Answer it now. Deal with it on my turn 1, or I am gonna play some cool dudes.
Yep.
Gargus.
I give it a 6.
100% like a 6.
Gargus, I think is nuts. But that's just me.
What the fuck am I looking at?
Dude.
Give it a second. Is this Volda?
Were you thinking of the character name?
Yeah. Is this the dude from 300?
Oh my god. 2 CP, FFBE, 5k. The 4s your opponent controls lose 2k power for each poison counter on them.
Oh, this is the dude you really like.
Yeah. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, choose a 4 the opponent controls, place a poison counter on it.
This card's really cool if you can keep it on board.
Yeah. Or just play multiple. The poison counters stay. They never go away.
Ooh. Is Kaminari... Does it have to choose like a cat 10? Or
Yes.
Can you, choose you can't play the Kaminari backup to choose this?
No, just play an Orin.
Or it doesn't work.
Oh, the Kamari backup?
Yeah.
No, it's anything for the Ronzo counter. I thought you meant the forward.
So you can play that, put a counter on this and it doesn't take damage.
Mm-hmm. Because you know who else is underwater? Magical Celia. Meaning his special's free for 3 poison counters. Just be like, I'll neg your dude 6k permanently. Nuts. I'll neg 2 dudes 6k permanently.
Honestly, this card's like a 3 or a 4. It's way too slow. It's real memey though.
I don't think it's slow at all. If you play it accurately, I don't think it's slow at all. I don't think it's that good, but I think it's really fun. I'd put it at a 5 to 6.
I think it's like a 3 or 4, but in the right deck, like if you find a real good way to play it consistently and effectively, it's like an 8 or a 9.
There comes to a point where they just can't keep dealing with it, and then you just sit there with a 2-drop that goes -2, -2, -2, -2, and they can't get over it.
Moves counters currently?
And no. There is removes counters. Yes, technically, there's a Sid FFCC. Oh no.
I want to move from this one to this one.
No, this reminds me so much of like Cloudians for some reason from Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's just really funny.
It reminds me of how damage sweepers work for Pokemon. I'll place a bunch of damage on this one. I'll swoop it all to this one. That's why I was asking if there's any move. You just swoop all the counters to one, kill it, and not deal with it.
No, it doesn't do that. It's a really cool card though. I like it a lot.
Very cool card.
Ranger is the same as Samurai, and what was the ice one?
Mystic Knight?
No, Mystic Knight was fire one. What was Ice's version of Samurai?
Oh, it was
just pay 1 dollar, put it in the break zone, grab a standard unit. If it's win, play it. So 5.
Yes, basic card.
Yep.
It's your filler card.
Actually, yeah, 5.
It's just a filler card.
Kelger. I like Kelger in general.
I like the art in this card.
Oh yeah, Mobius art's sick as fuck. So I like Kelger in general as a character, and I like both the Kelgers that are already out, but this one's nuts. 4 CP, 8k. If your opponent doesn't control a forward to cost 5 or more, Kelger gains haste, first strike, and brave. Nuts. When Kelger enters the field, you can pay a wind. If you do so, choose a forward to cost 5 or more and break it. So theoretically, Kelger costs 5 CP and has haste, first strike, and brave almost like 70% of the time.
If it enters, unless your opponent's holding 2 5+ dudes on board, it's always gonna have haste, first strike, and brave.
Always.
Yeah.
And it just I think Kelger can Terra fucking board.
I think it'll come in and just destroy something.
The only thing, like, they can be like Travis's deck where it plays Wool and shit like that, and like you have to target Wool, and he's got a few guys that are higher than 5, which like whatever, but I still put an 8k on board and got rid of a key piece.
Cecil plays this card, which is nuts.
Yep.
Cecil protect this card seems real good.
Yep. Cecil Edge protect this card seems really good. You never fucking yeah. Next one is Thief. I think this card's fucking insane.
This is the
I'm hella biased. I'm putting this card at a 9 to 10. And that's only I'm biased as fuck, James. This card says dull, not pay, dull. Put it in break zone. Your opponent puts the top 2 cards of their deck into the break zone. If you received a point of damage this turn, it's 4 cards. Meaning you'll be like, oh, you hit me. Oh no. Oh, cool. They're like going to main phase 2. You're like on the stack. I'll break this fucking Thief and mill you for it, and then I'll play another one because it's a backup. Are you kidding me? And if you play Garland, you draw a card?
In terms of
if you play 3 copies of this fucking card, that's 12 cards out of their deck.
In terms of a middle deck, this card's a real good 8 to 9.
Oh, hell yeah.
In terms of a regular deck, it's like a 2.
I'd put it at a 5 in a regular deck.
I'd say 2.
Because with the amount of break zone removal,
cool.
with the amount of break zone removal, especially if you play like X-Death, you're getting rid of 4 cards permanently.
I don't think Mill is as good as it used to be, strictly because of how much pickup there is. Understandably, there's going to be a lot more break removal right now. But I think
that's why I think Mill is probably at its best coming into the set.
Earlier in sets, because like there wasn't a lot of break pickup. You couldn't like pick up in a break zone. It was mostly all search.
Well, also because Riku just said tap Mill 1.
Yeah. So
or
like,
special tap Mill 2.
Like you got away with it earlier because like the best card to counter all of that was just Mist Dragon countered break, and then like not everything picked up from break zone like it does now.
Yeah.
Like there's so much.
Break zone's an extra supply, so it's a risk reward. But I'm biased as fuck. I think this card's sick as shit. And the art on this card is very basic but very nice.
It's basic as fuck. Sid Paladina.
Not any experts, kind of blows. But when he answered, what, 3 CP? Yeah. I do like the art. 3 CP. When he enters the field, you may search for one category 4 forward, add it to your hand. Category 4 has a searcher. I'm putting him at a 7. 4 needed a searcher. That wasn't just Celeste searching for a Cecil.
Or
Golbez searching for 2 drops.
Celeste, right? So
Not Celeste, Rosa, sorry. Rosa searching for Cecil.
Isn't Sid
Category 4, yeah. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, solid 7. Moving to Cecil, 6 CP, 9k. Ugh. EX burst when he enters the field, draw a card. I will never play the Cecil.
This Cecil will never get played. Yep.
It is maybe good in a sealed event and only a sealed event.
Why would you ever want to draw one card on a 6-drop that where you could play a dude for free?
Because in a sealed event, it's a 6-drop that draws you a card and there's a 9k. That's the only plus.
Yeah, sealed is really good.
Other than that, though, no.
I hate filling your shit ass fucking boosters with cards mainly for sealed.
Yeah.
If they cannot be played effectively in standard, why the fuck would you print them?
This one kind of makes me really sad and annoyed. 7. 3 CP 7k. Cadet type 0. Choose a dull. Choose an choose an opponent's auto ability. If your opponent doesn't pay 2, cancel its effects. So I think it's cool. Here's the issue I have.
Okay.
She's a forward.
Yep.
That's my issue.
She is literally Ishtola, but Ishtola can't be killed.
Y'shtola guarantees it stops.
Yep.
She says they have to pay 2. Yeah. So like if they Shantoto the board, they have to have an extra card, or Shantoto's canceled or something. Like it's cool, but like why not just play Snakebite and guarantee the?
It gives you another option instead of Snakebite. Snakebite you have to have 2. This one just has to be on board. It's neat.
If it was a backup, it'd be way better.
It can be under.
One of the things I think Type 0 has an issue with is a good backup line, because forward line's fucking gnarly, and they can't give us a good backup line to save our asses.
Neat if you're playing a Type 0 / Cadets engine inside of your regular deck, and you're wanting something like this. But at that point, why not play something that gives you 2 copies like the other one for Snakebite?
Right.
It just seems lackluster.
I wish Type 0 would stop getting shafted, personally. Next one. Dario Horn. 5 CP, 9k. Already looking spicy.
Takes 2 less from everything.
Yep. If he's dealt damage, reduce it by 2. And he cannot be broken by opposing summons or abilities that don't deal damage, which is super neat, in my opinion.
You have to hit him with 11.
At the end of each of your turns, choose a forward, activate it. That's really cool. And then special, pay a win, choose a character of cost 4 or more, break it. This plus Kelger is nuts.
Yes.
This plus Kelger.
Break 2 things on play?
Yeah. Not even break 2 things on play. It's the ability to keep Kelger as active as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're playing underwater, you play Glycelia and you're just like, I'll spend a crystal, pay a win, bam, break it. Kelger's got first strike haste and brave.
This card's really neat. We haven't seen him yet. With the one card that says it can't be activated. Or the act doesn't activate
the Doolahorn. Yeah. She's underwater. I mean, no. Well, honestly, its ability to activate her, if they don't deal with that card does just remove a forward on swing.
It's whatever, though.
It's like Refia. It's a more fair Refia.
There's gotta be something else we can find that's just better.
8, 9. I think all in all, this card,
7.
I think this card's a really good boss.
I think it is a very good card. Just like Ishtola, it's very good in the sense that it protects itself. But I think it doesn't get away with it like Ishtola does, having haste and full protection, where this one has partial protection.
Okay, that's fair. I think the protection it has is still good, though.
Yeah, still
especially when Samurai's fucking comes into play, this just goes, no.
That's why I put it at 7. It takes at least like 3 Samurai hits to make that one.
It will take, if Cyan does what, 1k for each Samurai?
Yeah.
So
Cyan would have to have 11 on board, or have, and then...
or have 6 on board plus Adel, or Edlar,
or having, if they're playing...
Squall. Yeah. Which they probably will. There's no way it doesn't.
Options, but like, it's a lot harder to kill. It takes about 2 to 3 now.
Yeah.
Instead of just auto kill 1.
He's still good. Next one. Chocobo. 1-drop summon, right? 1-drop summon. 1-drop EX burst summon. Reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add a character among them to your hand. Return the others to the bottom of the deck in any order.
Card's absolutely nuts.
It's an EX burst that selectively lets you draw 1.
It selectively adds any character.
Yeah.
Monster, forward,
Backup.
anything
Yep.
outside of another summon.
Yep.
Card's really fucking good.
7 to 8.
I'd say 8, yeah. 8, almost 9. If it was at any card, I'd say 9. 9, 10.
Next is Tiamat. I'm gonna.
The full art for this?
Yeah, I'm gonna put Tiamat. I think the art's fucking nuts.
Man,
The art for these cards are so good,
the art makes me want to build this deck.
but the cards are not good.
No.
I put Tiamat the same as Merilith, which I think was like a 3. EX burst or 5-drop 9k. EX burst when it attacks, so it has an EX burst, but like it doesn't matter as much. Choose a character you control. You can return it to its owner's hand, so it's a good bounce. When you receive a 5th point of damage, pay a win. Play it dull onto the field only if it's in break zone.
The only way you make this card better is if you have something that gives haste. Which under win, there's not many good ones.
There's not. You could play Chocobo.
Yeah, I guess. But the main reason I'm saying that is, what could you add to your hand that would make it worth returning to your hand to play again?
Typhon.
Typhon's real good. Typhon's real good.
Althea.
Elfay already does it, so like, who cares?
It's just another.
Yeah. It's just more of like,
Kelger.
why would you play this for that return to hand ability when you could just play...
ETBs. Just any ETB in general, yeah.
Why would you play this when you could just play something like...
Renoa.
No, the one that people already play, it's the 5-drop wind. That my brain is slipping.
Bismarck.
Bismarck.
Um,
Why would you play this?
Bismarck's at end of turn, and this one's when it attacks.
Yeah. But you're playing it for the same purpose of returning a card to hand, where Bismarck will draw your card and has the ability to tap things down to do damage.
Honestly, I wish this card bounced 2 cards of like cost 3 or less.
Honestly, I wish this card, when it went to the discard pile, played another dude.
That's not how Tiamat works, though.
How's Tiamat work?
Tiamat doesn't play dudes. Tiamat. So the reason Tiamat's win, right?
Yeah.
Tiamat's a very like a lot of the moves you get
like a Hydra.
are tornado based.
So not a Hydra.
Not a Hydra.
Okay, never mind then. Who cares? I saw it more as like a Hydra, and I was like, when it dies, they should play something.
No.
I still hate that these guys don't have a boss monster, despite being the fact that they're all boss monsters. Oh,
Feral Chaos.
fuck am I looking at?
The Typhon. Let's move to it. Typhon, 4-drop 8k. Nah, go back. Go back. Go back. That's Typhon, dude. When Typhon enters the field, choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's break zone. Remove them from the game. Pay 0. Return Typhon to its owner's hand. Fucking cracked.
Yeah, nuts.
Special, pay 2 win, pay 1 of any color, choose a forward, remove it from game.
On board. Who cares about that? The ability to, as just free, put him on board, remove 2 things, and then add him back for free
is nuts.
It's pay 0 and to not tap.
And guess what he has? Awkwardly enough, in a color this category never fucking touches. 6. 6 never touches wind. But he's a 6.
Here's the worst thing about this card. It should say tap. Return Typhon to hand. Tap return Typhon to hand makes this card still good. Makes this card still nuts.
It's not allowed to attack though.
Because it'll die.
No, I'm saying that's the thing. Tapping means it's not allowed to attack. Because now you could just be like, I'll attack with Typhon, or and if they try to kill it, you're like, fuck no.
Yeah, well, that's the point. What I'm saying is, it should say tap. Because you know what this says? Your opponent starts their turn and goes, oh, I have an out to that. Play this, kill that. Nah, pay 0.
Yeah, you tried.
Nah, fuck off. Like, if it said tap, your opponent has 1 turn to deal with it before this card starts becoming a problem.
Yeah, remove 2 on entry is nuts. Like, it's got a Kadaj factor on entry.
That's Kadaj. If it sits there, it becomes either 2 CP or Kadages again. For free. If it tapped, it at least had to sit there for a turn until your next turn. And your opponent could try to...
If it sits there and they draw another one, they just removed a forward too.
Yes.
And I think removing a forward is nuts.
It should have said tap, because this card I think it will get out of hand so fucking fast. Do you know what else you could do? You know what else you could do?
What?
Play both of them.
On the same turn.
I'll play this. Remove 2 things. I'll add this back to hand.
Bounce. Play the other one. Bottom.
I have enough cards in hand. Tap. I'll play Bismarck. End of turn. I'll add this back. Draw a card. My turn. Play this. Remove 2. I'll add it back to hand. Go ahead and play this.
Bismarck draw. Bismarck draw.
Bismarck, yeah.
You see how gross that is? If you get both, that's kind of nuts. I kind of want to see it.
Both and a Bismarck, you just funnel so quickly and disadvantage your opponent so quickly.
So hard.
It's a 4-drop, but who fucking gives a shit? It adds back, so if you need to use it, you can use it. And every single time you add itself back, you draw off a Bismarck. And then you're bouncing things to the top of your opponent's deck, and you always know what they're about to draw.
Yep.
It's dumb.
It's insane.
And if you need, it's a forward on block.
What's your score?
Oh, for this card?
Are you gonna say faux blocking? Because faux blocking's good.
I fucking hate faux blocking.
But it's good.
This card's a 10. This card's an absolute 10.
Is it by itself, or is it if you utilize it to the best? It's a 10.
This card by itself is a 10. It
Oh
adds
shit.
to hand. It can faux block, add to hand, and you both block damage and get it back for free for no fucking reason.
It's got really good fucking removal.
It removes 2 cards on play, and if you wanted to, same thing. If you have 2 in hand, because you can just play 3 and 3. Hit a type of the man, remove a dude for play. Why the fuck does this exist? Here's the thing you can do. You have both Typhons in hand. You draw a third one. Well, I'll play this. I'll remove 2.
If you don't fucking build this deck, I swear to God, just modify your FFCC a bit.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm doing.
100%.
You play this, remove 2 dudes. Cool. I'll pay 0 to add this back to hand. Respond. Pay 1, tap 2, pitch this, tap 2. I'll go ahead and remove that from hand, add this back to hand. We'll play the other one, bounce that.
Gross!
All because you drew an extra Titan?
Yeah, like... Alright. I'll go 8 for myself, but...
10. I don't remember if I said it or not.
Hey, I got my crazy 10. You can get yours.
I don't think this is a crazy 10. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I think this card and Edward right now are the best 2 cards in this entire set.
Currently?
Currently, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing else, in my opinion, maxes on as well as these do.
Have you read X-Death? You read X-Death.
I've read X-Death. I would probably put that at a 9. Now, here's the thing. X-Death is very good, but it's not good in every single situation.
Why not? It removes.
We'll get there.
Okay. We'll get there.
Edward literally sits on board and can counter at any point at once. This card literally never fucking
is
dies.
the most proactive and reactive card in the fucking game.
This card never fucking
Pay
dies.
0, bounces dumb. Just go back to my hand.
They have to have 2 immediate out. They have to be able to omit.
God, fuck. Can you imagine if you set a Bismarck up first? The card draw's nuts.
Yes. Actually, do you know what I want to play this in? I want to build Sky Pirates and play that. I don't want to play FFCC. If I play Sky Pirates, that's what I'll play.
I mean, that's fair. All right.
I really want to build that deck.
Null.
I'm the most fucking... I'm tilting down now because Typhon's just everything.
2 CP, 5K.
I'm done with this.
When Null attacks, you can remove him from the game. If you do so at the beginning of your next main phase 1, play him onto the field. When Null enters the field, do an ability of a card named Null. Select one of the 3 following actions. 1. Choose a character 4 or more. Break it. 2. He deals your opponent a point of damage. Free damage they can't deal with. 3. Search for a forward, add it to your hand. Fucking nuts. And damage 3, he gains haste. He's the legend of the set, but he's not the face of the set, which is funny because I think this card should have been the face of the set if it wasn't named Rebellion's Call.
There's no fucking right in this set.
There's one!
This card's a solid 9, though.
Oh, for fucking sure. This card...
Damage 3, it guarantees a point and removal.
This card...
It does it again.
I'm going to quote this...
Because once you hit damage 3, this just says, play Null, deal a point of damage, swing, remove him. Your opponent just doesn't do anything. Comes back at the beginning of your next main phase, deal a point of damage, swing, remove him.
So...
It is the Sophie of this set.
If your opponent has already played a 4 CP backup on their first turn, when you respond with a Null, it demands an immediate answer from their remaining cards, which are probably not going to have much to do. Sure, he's slow to get the ability off in that case because he has to wait to come back to get the break, but it can be a real thorn in the side of a control deck. He can fuck a control deck up. If that control deck is like, for instance, like Okamoto way back when had a storm deck that just looped Elfay and Shantoto against Shane when Shane like made Dragoons very popular. Yeah. Fuck the Shantoto loop and that deck couldn't do anything else. Oh, yeah. Like you can fuck off a lot of things really quickly.
This kills Amber real early.
Mm-hmm.
Amber real early. Go cool. I'll kill it and not worry.
As long as Edel's not on the field.
Yeah.
Edel protects her.
Most of the time, a lot of turn ones I see is just play Amber, add Shinju for the next turn, or Shinju play Shinju.
The coolest thing I see is that this card plus Titus, if you Water Window seems real nuts. This card plus like Titus gives you 2 points almost every turn, roughly every other turn.
I would also play this in my Sky Pirates.
damage they really can't do anything about. Plus,
it's really weird because I would take out a lot of the water stuff in Sky Pirates.
Soiree's best answer to this card never touches it.
Yep.
Soiree's 2 best answers to this card will never touch this card if it comes on the field first.
Alma is the only thing that touches this card.
Yeah. And Elvis can't do anything because it's gone.
Sorry, if you are playing...
Marald can't do anything because it's gone.
It's gone, yeah. The best options are being able to play Alma or having Brynhilde immediately.
Yeah.
And having the ability to play it.
You have to immediately, yeah.
Yep.
Those are like the 2 big things. All of its abilities are so fucking good that like they're all situational to a degree, but they all net you intrinsic value.
And the issue is if you decide not to use one, you can use the other later and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, they don't go away.
To build hand state, I'll search for a 4 and add it.
Yep.
If you need to get rid of a problem, I'll kill a dude.
Yep.
If not, if you have everything you need hand-wise, you don't
Touch
need
them.
to worry anything
Just
on board.
touch them.
Touch them for free and you don't have to worry about it dying.
Yeah.
This is the same problem I have with Typhon is...
And he removes himself. That's the coolest part. He doesn't go to break. He removes himself, meaning they never get the chance to interact with him.
The problem I have with this card is the same problem I have with Typhon, which is your immediate answer is the only answer you have.
Yep.
Because you can't deal with him.
You can't. No.
And the difference between him and Typhon, why I have Typhon at a 10 and him at a 9, Typhon returns itself for free. If you Alma this thing, it's dead. And once you get rid of it, it's gone, which is fine. Typhon's a lot harder to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that Typhon's nuts.
It stops your opponent and keeps the dude on board. Whereas this one constantly gets you advantage, but if you get rid of it, it's not a problem anymore.
Yep.
Where Typhon will stick around for a little bit and still be an issue.
Next one.
Pinello.
Pinello!
It's really weird because like I still think I'm going to play the water Pinello over this one. But...
You should.
The fuck?
In Sky Pirates, you should. This Pinello is specifically for dancers.
I kind of just, outside of wanting to play a couple water stuff,
Mono win.
Mono wind is kind of what I want to do with it. But
2 CP 5K, category 12, dancer. At the end of each of your turns, deal 1k damage to all the forwards the opponent controls for each card you cast this turn. Dull an active card name dancer or job dancer other than Pinello you control. Choose a forward the opponent controls until the end of the turn. Its power becomes 4k. So
this card's really good in Storm.
Oh yeah, especially with the new Luso, which we'll get to. Here's what I think. Even in dancers, I think with the new Luso, it's nuts. Here's what I think is the coolest part about this card, is that if you cast 2 cards, and the dancer you dull is the
one that deals an extra 1,000.
That deals an extra 2,000 at intern if it's dull.
Yeah.
Then you're only you cast 2 cards, 1k, dull, make it a 4k, and all that shit hits at intern. You can't do shit.
This card works really well with...
And it really only costs you 1 card dull and 2 cards casted. Backup speed.
Works really well with all the wind summons that say reduce, change your opponent's like power to like whatever. This card works really well with it. Dealing
like
with
Diabolos.
Diabolos is very good.
Making things a 4K or whatever.
Makes it the 4K. Sorry, having the ability to commit off of this is really good.
You can also... Does it say reduce, or does it until the end... Its power becomes. That's the issue. If it said reduce... 2 CP Diabolos would be fucking insane. Because you'll just go, I'll dull dancer, make it a 4K. Oh, it's increased or reduced. Pay 2, break it.
So it doesn't count as reduction if you change it?
Yeah, no, it has to say reduce.
Okay.
In dancers, Pinello's an easy 7 to 8. Outside of dancers, Pinello can still be about a 5 or 6, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the ability to make something a 4K on any fucking turn is nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And you could dull her. Because she's a job dancer.
I like this art. This art's really neat for the next card. Sorry, I pulled up the
you want to...
Fujito.
Go ahead.
I don't know what his stats are. He's a 4-drop backup.
Category 7.
Ooh. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Win brings in. For
I wanted to do...
on the next set with the starters.
Yeah, with like the Yuffie.
Yeah, the Yuffie stuff. I'm excited to see what I can do with that. When Fujito is put from the field to the break zone, choose a forward your opponent controls. Remove from the game. Really good ability, actually. Man, that's really cool. Dole, put Fujito into the break zone. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Put 1 card among them on top of the deck and put 1 in the bottom of your deck. Stacks your deck and removes a card from the game, which is pretty cool.
And it also makes your opponent never want to touch it. It's almost... It can be a sticky backup if you want it to be.
Yep.
It's a consistent backup your opponent never wants to deal with.
Yeah.
And if they deal with it, they get a forward removed.
The only problem I see with it is a 4-drop that immediately does nothing. Which means you have to either be able to play it in easily which means you have to have the extra cards to be able to do it. And you would have to be able to, or have the ability to play it without having to worry about getting backsworn. Just because of how much you're going to have to put into it. Because the return's only...
Looks sick as shit, though.
Yeah, the art's real cool. Go.
You're on hope.
Yeah, we're about to get into hope. But, like, it's just a 4-drop that makes you... It can remove a dude, which is really cool, but it just feels really slow compared to, like, playing Madam M, playing any of these cards that add things, because they give you the ability to keep going and keep doing things, where this is more of a sit and wait, and I don't think Wind needs more of that. It already has enough cards that it can sit and wait on, stuff like Typhon and stuff like that. It just doesn't need it. Next, we'll talk about Hope, while Noah uses the bathroom for the 4th time now. So pull up Hope here. When Hope enters the field, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character, add it to your hand. If it's category 13 character, also activate Hope. Whoop. I hate this. Can I make this? Is this what I want? Zoom. 75?
I put Hope at a 4. Here's my reasoning.
If you have something...
Here's my reasoning.
She's a backup?
Yeah.
Nah. Hope's not worth it.
Hope's a 4.
Yeah.
My reasoning, the only cards under Win, besides the Lightning Win, Lightning, is Hope, Bartholomew, who plays a Hope, backup, and the backup searcher whose name I can't remember off the top of my head for Hope. That's really it.
You would never want to play this Hope, though. If you're going to play that line...
No, there's a... Yeah, you would just play a different Hope.
You would play the other Hope that says Grab an Alexander.
Yeah.
Because that nets you another card.
It's weird. Yeah. If it's under mono Wind, it's kind of cool, but it's still 4.
If you're playing a 13 deck...
I'd rather play Madam M and get the top X cards.
About with Fajito, which is... Fajito's just slightly slow, and Madam M at least grabs you something to keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
And defensively, you already have enough things in Win that takes care of cards.
Yep.
You don't need something slow like Fajito. You want something that keeps you in the game faster.
Yeah.
To keep up with the faster decks.
Next one. Yagudu. When it enters the field, choose a forward. Its power becomes 4K until end of turn. Nuts. Pay 2 and Dolet. Put in the break zone. Choose a forward. Its power becomes 4K until end of turn. It's a 1-drop monster, which is kind of cool. I think if you have like Realm or
anything that pings and Wind with small pings could get away with this.
Oh, with a lot. So like Barley with this would be really good.
My FFTCG deck needs a 1-drop Wind. I'll play a dude. I'll play this. Tap this. I'll hit you for 2, 3, 4. Kill your dude.
Yeah. I think it's really nice. It's not super good. I'd put it at like a 3. It's cool, but like it just...
Deck, I'd put it at like a 7.
I mean, that's fair.
But like my deck works off of needing this card actually.
Not the last one, because there's still one more that they don't have pictures up. There's 2 more they don't have pictures up for. Archer. 2 CP backup. Choose Dolet, choose 4, deal 2k damage, and then pay a win, pay 1 Dolet, put in the break zone, deal something 10k.
Which is neat.
It does what Ico does under Earth.
Yeah.
But it costs 2 instead of 3.
It's a forward.
This is a forward?
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Never mind.
Yeah. 2.
Cards a 2.
It's a 2-1.
If it was a backup, it'd be nuts.
If it was a backup, it'd be fine. Yeah.
Ricard.
Ricardo.
If you control a category 2 forward other than Ricard, he gains 1k power and summons the abilities of your opponent. Must choose Ricard if possible, so he's a lightning rod. Only for category 2 though, or at least only if you have one.
He's expensive as fuck though.
Yeah, what is he like?
He's a 4-drop.
Yeah.
He's a 4-drop 9k if you're playing. So like, me and Noah already talked about this. This was Rebel's Call or whatever, right? Rebellion's Call. There are no rebels in this set.
Rebel Lion.
And it's an entire set that should have been based around Cat 2 at least, or at least a core piece of it built around Cat 2, which is Cat 2. But there's nothing good about Cat 2 in this set. This card
except for Maria, really.
And this card would be okay if it was maybe slightly cheaper, and there was something that helped bring it out. But this card you have to literally hard play. That's
the issue I'm having is like, we're getting to the point in the game, at least with this current meta, where you want to be able to cheat things out as much as possible.
You don't even have to be able to cheat them out, but be able to make them a little cheaper.
That's still cheating them.
Not cheating.
Sorry.
Like, cheating would
there's nothing...
I played Titus for free because I played 3 dudes on board. That's cheating something out. But like this just says...
I feel like I'm being targeted.
There's we're gonna talk about it later. I think it's the Minwu that does it. That picks up dudes. Like Minwu can pick this up and do something really cool with it, but you have to have other dudes to be able to play it, and you still have to pay for this because you don't get away with making it cheaper. I actually really like the ability of gain 1,000 and being a lightning rod, but you still have to pay for it on top of having other dudes. It's like there's nothing that cheats this out or makes it cheaper to put out. You have to literally hard cast this.
Yeah.
And hard casting something that doesn't net you anything or gain you hard position just feels bad.
Yep. 3.
Solid, if there's some way to help this card, because I haven't read every single thing in this set.
We're getting there.
If there's a way to help this card a little bit, I would actually say it's like a 7 or it's a 6, 7, 8.
For sure. I don't think there is, though.
If there's not, it's like a 4, 5, 6, 6 at best.
I put it at 3.
The last card is Luso, for the green at least.
Yeah, Luso. 1 CP, what is he, of 3K? 3K, yeah. When he enters the field, if you cast 3 or more cards this turn, draw 1, so you can be the third cast you draw. Yep. When he enters the field, if you cast 7 or more cards this turn, deal AK damage to all the 4s the opponent controls.
This card's also real neat in Storm.
The only issue I see...
Is he a Sky Pirate?
No.
Oh, no, he's
FFTA, 2.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought he'd be a Sky Pirate.
Because...
Oh, he has a giant sword thing. That looks Sky Pirate.
There's, if I'm correct, 2, Penelo and Kais are also FFTA characters. Or they're in a similar, setting.
I believe...
Because they're not actually in 12.
What I think it is...
Penelo is, sorry.
I think Luso is...
Philo and Kais.
Yeah. But they are still Sky Pirates in that lore.
Yeah.
For that game.
Yeah.
So they may be FFTA 2s, but they are...
Yep.
They're not 12s, they're FFTA 2s.
Yeah.
I hate FFTA 2, by the way. Because there's not enough FFTA. And I want there to be more FFTA. And I've really
Talk to Chris about that.
Acronyms. I want to be able to play Marsh effectively.
The Montblanc and Herdy are FFTAs.
No, they're FFTA 2.
Are they really?
Yes, it's fucking dumb.
Montblanc is a... Is that Montblanc TA2 or are all the Montblancs?
The ones in the set are FFTA 2.
Oh, gross.
Because I wanted them to be at FFTA.
So my issue with Luso is that you need to cast 7 or more cards, which feasibly doesn't sound too bad. It's just being able to... You have... It's the end goal of that turn. That turn is, I want to deal with their board and set up as best as possible, Luso in turn.
I actually think it's much easier to do in Storm, being that he is a 1-drop.
Oh, yeah.
So you play him, do cool ability to draw extra cards.
You have to do him last.
Well, you do him to draw extra cards. So you'll play him as your third card, draw an extra card. If Atomos raised 2 at one point, you play him, you draw your extra card.
Rosa readies 3.
Rosa will ready 3.
Or all, technically.
Yeah. You play another dude. No, actually, then what you would do is you play your third dude. Rosa would ready things. You play him, draw your extra card. Use Althea, bounce it back to hand. Play it again for your 4th card. Get another card from it. Play Althea again for your 5th or 6th
You
card.
probably want to have an Alexander to draw cards as well.
Yep. And filling that space, along with his draw power, means you get through your deck faster and will get to that 7 extremely easily. You
just have to be able to reactivate constantly.
Yep, and honestly...
I mean, if you're playing Hope, it's not terrible either.
And Storm gets through that so easily.
It's just the issue I have with him is that he is the end-all, be-all of that turn.
Yep.
And if they somehow, some way, draw a response to your whole board setup, they shouldn't. By that point, you should have fucking locked them at that point anyways.
When you're doing this. Either to get to just playing a cool full board and using him as just draw power to get there, or if you're not able to get there and being okay with just holding him in your hand, because that's a good spot to be, which is play 2 dudes, play another dude, draw a card. It's pretty good. Or,
with an Ash on board, you could draw 2.
Yeah, like
in turn.
Or at full, being able to just, if you get to 7, 8K'ing the board is not bad. But using him as draw power to get to your full board is really good.
Yeah.
It's why Alexander's good, is because it draws you too.
I put Luso at a 7 base.
Oh yeah, 7's fine. Yeah. Okay.
And that wraps up Wind.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. On to Earth. Ursula.
On to Earth.
4-drop, 4K. With Brave, when she blocks or is blocked, you can put it back up. You control it to the break zone. When you do, she gains 4K power until end of turn. Card at face value is pretty okay. 5 on curve-ish, maybe 6. Card compared to the other 4-drop Ursula that we have,
1.
1. The other 4-drop Ursula has way more utility. Does quite literally the same thing without Brave. And can kill something if need be. It doesn't need to break a backup.
This is real cool with Rampier.
It is cool with Rampier. That's about it, though. If you want to play a deck that's made to break the fuck out of Rampier and keep playing Cat 12s or 11s, sorry, Cat 11s, be my guest. But yeah, I'd put her at like a 5 to 6.
Ooh, an 11.
What's the next one?
Marcella?
Arcella?
Arciella.
Yeah, go ahead.
Arciella. When she enters the field or attacks, choose one summon in either player's break zone, remove from the game. If you do so, place 1 refresh counter on her. Remove a refresh counter, choose a forward, negate all damage dealt to it, and it gains 4k until the end of the turn. Card's nuts! Card's nuts.
So, her biggest issue is that she dies to bouncing and straight breaks.
Yeah.
Other than that, though,
So do a lot.
she's a beefy motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. 7k on base that gains 4k?
9k on base. Or, sorry, 11k.
No, 7k.
No, yeah, if she gains 4, it's 11.
Yeah. She's a 7k on base that can get 4k.
Yeah.
Or you can give 4k to something else and negate its damage.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts.
Be like, I'll block, gains 4k.
It's an 11. Do you know what would be really cool to give 4k and negate damage to?
Rubble.
Roble. Or
Titan.
Kieran.
Oh, wait, Titan's not 11. Kieran.
Kieran's a real cool one. I might build an actual 11 deck. With,
Next one.
mix.
Cardian?
Cardigan.
Cardian. Damage 3.
It's a joke.
It's a 2-drop 5k, damage 3 gains 3k, damage 5 gains Brave, and can't be dulled by your opponent's summons or abilities. Static, on curve, 5 to 6. If you play it at damage 3, it's a 5 to 6.
I guess it's an 11, but like, if there's more 11 things, maybe it has a place. But honestly, I actually think it's just like a 2. What deck's gonna play this?
I mean, that's fair.
Like it, understandably.
I'm not talking even about the decks that play it though, but
the ability's not bad. So like, it's a cool.
I don't like the damage 5. It takes till damage 5, so it can't be dull. So like you can easily play around that.
Like, understandably, the ability's not terrible, especially for a 2-drop. But like, who's gonna play it?
Yeah. Ready for the next one?
Gabranth.
Gabby. Gabby's a 2 CP backup. Dull, choose a forward, it gains Brave until the end of turn. You can only use this ability during your main phase. It's like a Momoti, but has to pay, so it's 3 CP. Damage 5. Pay an Earth Dull, put it in the break zone, choose a Dull forward, and break it.
Not terrible.
Why do I want to play this Gabranth over 4 CP forward? 4 CP forward.
Cost that can break a dude if need be at a moment, but other than that, I want to see a reason to.
Yeah, it breaks a Dull forward, which is my biggest issue.
You can just play Momoti instead of this and play them back for Gabranth.
Yep.
There's
Momoti
no
costs 1 more, and you don't have to constantly tap her.
It's a, what's the job?
He's a judge. This is him. Yeah, he's a judge.
So like,
Category 12.
there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't matter.
Next one,
Ooh.
a card I think is cool, but
So like, we talked about this. I think this card is good, neutral. I think this is a cool 6 to 7 card.
yeah.
But I guess we haven't seen everything yet, but like its entire kit seems lackluster.
Duke Snakeheart. Back attack. When Duke Snakeheart blocks Duke Snakeheart, break Duke Snakeheart and any forwards that are blocked by Duke Snakeheart. So, I just reading that,
This thing kills
he
parties.
fucks up parties.
Oh, yeah.
He hella fucks up parties. Because it says any forwards. So,
Fucks up parties, which is cool.
really good party killer.
It can't kill Avalanche, unfortunately.
Nope.
But happens. It's like the only thing.
Because it says break and not put to break zone. Otherwise, it'd be really good. But yeah, it really does fuck up a party deck.
The reason this card's really good is
With
the
back
two-drop
attack.
Back attack is very nice.
2-drop back attack that you can just be like, I'll block and break something.
Yep.
Warrior.
Very good. The problem is we're gonna see a bunch of this like art style and
the dual horns. Dual horns.
The dual horns don't like they're an entire like set kit that just doesn't do anything.
Currently, yeah. They're close, but they're not there.
Yeah, they're missing something.
Warrior.
Is this just the Earth version of the other thing?
It is the Earth version of kill some shit of like Miss Ignite. So you put in break zone, choose forward, give it 2k power. If you receive a point of damage, it gains.
Oh no, this gets bigger. Okay.
Yeah, it makes things big.
Okay.
Next, I mean, yeah, it's balanced 5.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Titan,
Seems really cool.
3 CP. Summon, select one of 2 following actions, choose a forward to cost 5 or more, deal at 9k damage. Pretty cool. All the forwards you control gain 5k power until the end of turn.
Both abilities are really neat for a 3k.
Yeah, I mean, it's I put it to a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'd say like 6.
So this card I like a lot, but
I like the Swamp Thing art.
In theory, this card's good. In practice, it's a little rough. Because you have to.
There's not many things that 5k at 5 drops right now that you really can want to use this on. Like I guess you can kill Shinryu.
What are you talking about?
Like,
Oh, you're talking about Titan still.
Titan. Did you just skip over and go right to?
No, we did Titan. I just read Titan.
Yeah.
I'm on Durando.
Oh, you just said good card, skipped right over it. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have too much to say about it. This is a card that like I'm very mixed about, but I think it has to be played a semi-specific way for it to gain its full effect. So when he deals damage to your opponent, choose up to 1 forward in your break zone, up to 1 backup in your break zone, add them to your hand. Special, until the end of turn, he gains 4k power brave and can't be chosen by your opponent's abilities. So again, reading off of this, I think kind of just capsizes him the best. Play him turn 1, discard 2 backups. Show them you mean business. Turn 2, discard 2 forwards for Chelinka, extend the hand. Otherwise, I don't think there's realistically a worthy home for this guy. He's basically Zidane, but more expensive. Maybe there's a niche somewhere. 4 CP Zidane.
Chelinka deals 2 damage, right?
Yep.
It's real fun.
Chelinka gives him brave and says he can attack twice. So he's allowed to deal 2 points of damage and pick up both the backups and forwards. Yep. So unless you're playing for that as your angle, I don't think he's that necessary. He's really cool. I think even by himself, he's really good.
If you have space to play a 3-drop inside like that FFB kit, he's a very good target because
even if anything, he's a 3-drop 7k. So if anything, if you special with him, he's an 11k with brave.
Yep.
That can't be chosen by abilities.
Needs to deal with because you'll add 2 cards for free.
Yeah, they have to sack something for him.
They have to sack something, or they have to take care of him before he gets the cool stats.
Yep. So I'd put him. Honestly, I'd put him at like a 6.
Yeah, same. Nothing.
Next one, Baron Soldier, 3-drop 7k. Baron Soldier enters the field. You can pay an Earth. If you do so, select 1 card type. Remove all cards of the name type in your opponent's break zone from the game. Damage 3 gains 2k power. This card's fucking dumb.
This card.
This is Earth's equivalent to Dancer and Scholar and Samurai.
This card makes me wish we had sideboards. This card is an auto 3F sideboard for Earth.
Yeah.
You don't have to play it in your main because you're already playing Mist Dragon. But if you really need that discard, the break zone outlets.
The coolest thing about it is that it targets a specific type.
Yep.
So sure, it doesn't remove the whole break zone, but you're putting a forward on board, and you're getting the ability to be like, buy all of your backups, your summons. Like if they're playing a roble deck, fuck them.
Yeah. They're playing Swell, right?
FFBE, like take their forwards out. Their backup line's probably already established. It doesn't matter.
It's a very cool card. I just don't know where it has a specific place unless you're forcing it in.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it. That's why I wish there were side decks because I think this would be an easy side deck if you know you want to get rid of your opponent's discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
And matchups where it doesn't matter, you don't have to play it.
Yup. Sleeping Bree, 1-drop monster. When it enters the field, choose a forward until the end of turn against 2k power and brave.
Flan art.
Which is kind of cool. Is it a flan?
It looks like a flan.
It is a flan. Flan has another searcher or another search target. Earth, pay 2 Earth, pay 2, dole it, put it in the break zone, choose 4, deal it 2k damage for each backup you control. So max of 10.
I believe the flan searches for card name flan, not job.
Not job flan.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
It's not the.
No.
Yep.
I'm gonna look this up now.
Okay, I can't look it up because
Yeah.
I'd have to show the page.
Your thoughts on it though?
It's okay. It's whatever.
You can also show the monster card.
Like pay
Monster card.
Like pay 4 to maybe 8k something is okay, Like, you have to pay 4 to get rid of this 8K and, like, Just being able to give something 2K Brave for a turn is neat. But to me, this feels like one of those filler cards.
Gross, yeah, it is card name Flan.
Yep.
Because it could search Jumbo Flan if possible.
It can search a different bunch of Flans, actually.
It can only search one other Flan. It can search itself and 2-drop Earth Flan.
Yeah, what I mean is, like, there's a bunch of Flan jobs.
There's only one other Flan job.
Oh.
Yeah, which is Jumbo Flan.
There's one other that...
And Flaned it, my bad, and Flaned it.
Flaned it. Prish is next. Prish is pretty okay. When Prish enters the field or attacks, you choose a forward your opponent controls. Prish and the forward deal damage to each other equal to their powers. You can discard a card from your hand. Prish will gain 2K until the end of turn. And if the discard card was a Prish, it gets 4K instead.
Damage 5 gains 2K.
Yeah, so...
It's 3-drop 6K. So it feels a little off curve, but because of its ability, it has to kind of be like that.
Discard for +2/+4.
It's a fight trigger, right?
It's built... What?
Yeah, it's a fight trigger.
Yeah. It's built to play the Prish engine.
For sure.
It's not built for anything else but the Prish engine. Because it's not a monk or anything. It's just itself. It's an aberrant one, I think.
Wish they would give us more monks.
This almost gives me exactly what I wanted. Do you remember we had this conversation about Dark Knights?
Yeah. No, I read this card. And went, man, if this was a fucking Dark Knight, James would be like, yes.
So, I don't want a Dark Knight that fights. What I want is a Dark Knight that deals damage almost to the amount of damage to kill itself. To each itself and its opponent.
Fair.
And then you just,
I think the fight trigger is just better, personally. Because fight triggers get around damage.
I want to do neat, cheeky things. This Prish, if you're playing the engine, probably like an 8, 9. But if you're not, it's like a 5.
Yeah, it's very balanced. It's very basic. Next is Mott. Yeah, but why am I playing this over 6 CP Mott? Mott, 5-drop 9K. Earth, he gains 1K power until end of turn. 2 Earth and 1. He cannot be chosen by opponent summons or abilities that don't deal damage until the end of turn. Why would I play this?
Why would you ever play this?
In a Monk's deck. Specifically, I think in a non-Monk's deck, he's kind of okay. But in a Monk's deck, you would never play this card.
He's a 10K that doesn't take damage from... cannot be broken by abilities that don't take damage.
Yeah. I'd rather play 6 CP and search. Especially if I can free play the 6 CP to search off of Yang.
This card is not good.
No. It's not my favorite. Matoya. 1.
Hey, I want full arts to this card, by the way.
For Matoya? I mean, if we get him...
This is what I think... I really want the beast. I really want the chaos monster.
Have fun with that one. I'm still working on my fucking black waltzes.
I want full arts to this card because I think this card's nuts.
Matoya says... When Matoya 1 enters the field, select one of the 3 following actions. Choose a character in your break zone, add it to hand. Remove all cards in your opponent's break zone from the game. This is 5 CP, by the way, right? 4 CP. It's a backup. Nuts. Or you can pay 2 Earth and 2 of any other, so 8 CP total. When you do so, break all the forwards.
Yep. She is pay 4, play her, pay another 4, break everything else. She is half Shantoto, half Mist Dragon, half Kusith.
Kusith.
I think this card's fucking nuts.
It's a hero.
This card, I think is... This is the 3rd best card, I think, in the set right now. In this set, to me. Being in order... I'd actually put this above the Edward. But only because of how much it can do specifically.
But you put Typhon at the top still? I really want to see that fucking deck. I'm so hyped, dude. Holy shit.
The Typhon's so fucking free. Edward's really good at the sense of every single time you play it, it's doing something immediately and always controlling your opponent if you need it to.
Yeah.
And if not, it does something. But it doesn't do everything. It only does discard stuff. Which is very good right now. Where this Matoya can remove everything on one time, can pick up something if it needs to, and then if it needs to, can break the entire board. Which is also very good. It's one of those one-time things. I think this card is the fucking nuts if you're playing Wind Earth.
Oh, for sure.
Wind Earth, this card's the fucking nuts. I'll Althea this back to my hand. Do I need a secondary board, like doing your Althea Shantoto thing?
Yeah. Do you want the board wipe?
Board wipe? Like, it's pay 1 more than
Shantoto. It doesn't remove it, breaks, but it's you still get other targets besides just doing that too if you wanted to.
It's cheaper for the other things you need. It's just slightly more expensive for the other thing.
Yeah.
So like, it's slightly more expensive for what Shantoto does itself, but it does other things for cheaper.
Mhm.
So
Next one.
nuts. I want two of this.
So I'm putting this card at an 8 on this next one. Monk.
Matoya I'm putting at 9.
Oh yeah, for sure. I put Monk at an 8. Monk is the equivalent to Samurai.
Okay.
So it says
Put it at 8 then. We put all the other ones at the Samurai.
that plays a dude.
Oh no, I saw it.
Oh wait, it says standard unit. Never mind. It's a 5/6. I fucking for some reason was thinking.
Well, a lot of your monks are actually a lot of the monk backup stuff is standard.
That's
this is forward. Cards garbage.
Yeah, it's not as good.
The one it plays is the fight monk. It plays the cool fight monk.
I mean, it's not bad.
I mean,
it's not that good though.
It's not terrible, but it's a backup.
I forgot that it said job standard unit.
Not bad. It's another 2 CP monk that Ursula can play. That's not Sophie. And this one will also.
Sabin's a 2 CP monk. Ursula can play this, not Sophie. I'm trying to do a fire earth, which is why I think about this because like Duncan counts and.
More
for sure.
Things that Ursula can play. And
I think it. I mean, it has targets. It needs better targets that Ursula can play, and this is a better target because it can recur at least one of your monks.
And can play it.
You could theoretically play the monk and then sack the monk and shoot something. Yeah. You know. Yeah, Night Dancer. Another dual horn.
This card is also okay.
It's a 2 CP 5K. Night Dancer, your opponent may declare as many attacks in the same turn as the number of backups they control. When Night Dancer is put from the field to the break zone, choose a forward the opponent controls against this forward cannot attack until the end of the turn. So it's a floodgate is really what it is. If you have it early, it's kind of good for flooding boards. If you have it late, it feels a little off. But if your opponent's playing a game where they typically have 3 to 4 backups and they have like a good amount of dudes on board, you can kind of it's not bad. This can take care of at least 2 forwards.
This card is very good at controlling decks, like in my opinion, like Avalanche, like Soirees, like
Soirees tends to get to 5.
It depends on which part of the game Soirees is playing at.
Yeah.
Soirees has the ability to, if it needs to, real early at like 1-2 backups, just explode the board and get rid of that real easily. Control that down real easily. It gets rid of things like Samurais if they build light, or you force them to blowing up their backups for things. Controls that. Controls Avalanche in the sense of if for like me personally, once you hit 1-2, you can start just exploding if you need to, or you can play a longer game. But like any deck that can explode off a 1 and 2 and control a board state, this shuts the fuck down unless they can take care of it.
Yep.
Understandably, it is a 5K, so like it dies easily to Brunhilde.
It does easily.
But
when it dies, it says something can attack, which is pretty good. I put it at 6.
Yeah, 5-6. Yeah. It's another one of those things where it's just like I hate this entire new job they created that doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because like this is one of the other card we showed and this one are like the only 2 good cards in my opinion. The other ones are just lackluster.
Next one, Shadow Lord. So let me preface. It depends, but Shadow Lord can almost be better than Titan.
Shadow Lord is pretty okay.
7 CP, what? 8, 9? 7 CP, 9K.
Yep.
When Shadow Lord enters the field, name a job, break all forwards of the name job, and job standard unit. When 3 or more forwards are put from the field to the break zone, deal yourself a point of damage. Damage 5, Shadow Lord gains 1K power brave, and also becomes dark. So here's why I think Shadow Lord is better than Titan. Shadow Lord does not outpace Titan in terms of soirees, because Titan says put to break zone, and also hits soirees because they're usually 8Ks. What Shadow Lord can do, though, is specifically target not your board, and that's where it's a little bit better, because you can name a job like Samurai and fuck the Samurai board up.
Yep. And
your board state is still fine.
It also actually technically gets around the only reason they can't get around soirees is because it says
Madame Edel says that they can't be broken.
This gets around dancers.
It does get around dancers.
Dancers can't do shit to this. It doesn't choose them.
It chooses their job.
Chooses the job. The game breaks it by its own ability.
Yep.
So this is very cool in the sense of it gets around Minwu's and
it doesn't matter on the damage reduction either.
Yeah.
Like you can reduce the power that it has and it still wouldn't matter. It still breaks,
so
which is really good.
Auto does it.
Yep.
The bad side is obviously you take damage if you kill more than 3 things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time you read this, you're like, I killed 3 things and deal damage? Hell yeah.
I was like, that's not how that works. I'd still put it at a 7.
I read that separately.
I'd put this at a 7.
Yes,
For this set, I don't know how relevant dancers will become, but if dancers do become relevant, this card's fucking nuts.
I think this card. Holy fucking shit! I just looked at Lich. Oh my god.
I
cool.
know.
I think this will always be relevant as a cool card you could throw in if you need a board wipe, specifically because I think the more sets that come out, the better jobs will be. Like Dancers, Sky Pirates, Samurais, and Soirees are like the last 4 Knights, are like the last 5 big decks that have like formatted the format itself.
It fucks up archetypal decks.
Yeah. Which, like I said, I want more of.
Yeah.
I like seeing the counters of that, and I like seeing archetype decks. The problem with archetype decks is, if they overvamp them, we run into what people think is the Soiree problem right now, which they nerf the fuck out of Soirees with this set.
This set completely in and of itself just fucks Soirees over. And they already had like ways to deal with them. Like Kadaj automatically just really hinders them.
Big take here. People are bad at this fucking card game. So on to Ewan.
Ewan. This card,
Ewan.
let me explain something, right?
Ewan.
I just thought of this. This card, low-key, can be nuts as fuck. Here's why. Oh, fuck. Never mind. That blows. No, wait. Yeah, that blows. I just read that last part. So when he's put from field to break zone, you can put him on top of the owner's deck, and then damage 3 on EX burst when he's put into the damage zone, break it forward. Here's why I thought he would be nuts, and it sucks that they said this ability may only be used as an EX burst instead of just saying, is because Larsa, 2CP Larsa that says on play, pick up a card in damage, put one in. If it didn't say can only be used as an EX burst, because it says when he enters the damage zone, boom, I'd be like, nuts. But no, they didn't think of that aspect. They thought of the damage 3 aspect to not confuse people. So they just cut it off in general. Because if it was damage 3, goes to, for whatever reason, like, they had to specify that for that reason, I believe. I don't think they thought of Larsa. No way. Nobody fucking thinks of Larsa. Nobody plays that card. I think that card's nuts. It's a really good tech card, but it's just really awkward.
You have to have the right pieces.
Yeah.
This card's okay.
Ewan is a 3 to 5.
There's nothing. What's its job? It's
I think it's a Nightfall.
Yeah.
Here's what would make Ewan a 5 is because it can deal with 2 forwards.
It's a very good card. The problem is, like you said, I was about to say, is it just doesn't nobody? It's the same thing we had a problem with the Joker card from earlier.
I lied. This card is actually a bit better than I thought it was.
It's still, the problem is,
the only way they deal with this card is via bouncing it. Because this card is allowed, it's a 1 CP that's allowed to essentially deal with 2 forwards, 1 on blocking by just chump blocking, and 1 on damage. So the issue is if they burn Hilderate, it goes back to the top of your deck.
Yep.
And if they hit you and you're at damage 3, cool, I just killed one of your dudes. I don't fucking care that you burn Hildered this. Yep. Or you draw it and play it again, and that burn Hilder felt mega useless because it's 1 CP.
This card's, I actually think this card's like a 6 or a 7. The only problem is there's not a single deck right now that wants to play this.
Currently not, but I think if you have that extra space, I see no reason not to put this in at like a 2.
Maybe Monks. It gives it another target on board. You can sit there and you can face tank something without having to trade with Monks to be able to kill something.
I think it's fine.
It's okay, but you would still almost rather have a Monk.
Plus, if you have anything that in Monks that like deals you damage, you can theoretically have this stacked on top.
The same way I feel about this, the same way I feel about Suzuhiza, which is, when it's working, it's a nuts ass fucking card.
I think Suzuhi's nuts in the current meta.
But the problem is
the amount of autos that trigger.
If you have nothing, if you don't have a good spot for it to fit, that's the problem you're running into.
Yeah, but
there's no good decks that want it right now. Like I said, Monks could do it, but you'd almost just rather have the Monks so you have that engine.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. There's no good Earth decks right now.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking cry.
Already into an engine.
Oh, I just saw what the next card was, and it makes me sad.
The not Scion.
The not a monk.
The not a monk, not a Scion.
Yeah.
The one that looks like a monk and should be a Scion and is neither.
Fighter, Lisa. 4 cost. What is she? 4 cost AK.
4/8. Yeah.
Yeah, 4-cost AK hero. You cannot play her or Yida while in control of either character. If the forward's forming a party you control dealt damage, the damage becomes 0. Pretty cool. When a party you control deals damage to your opponent, draw a card. She deals your opponent damage. This effect will only trigger once per turn. If she was a monk, I think this card would make monks. This would be like the Tenzin for monks. It would be that card that makes them so much more playable. Not because, oh, I'm going to blow it up with fucking Ursula. No, because they have another threat on board besides Ursula that goes, hey, deal with me or I'm fucking you up.
Yeah, but they'd also give them two
Could you imagine if Sophie with this card?
targets of burn 1. I just hate that it's a lice that's not a fucking Scion. The other lice is a Scion.
This could have been a monk Scion.
Yeah. I don't get it. Especially since you can't play a fucking Ida. Why would Scions want to play this card over Ida? Ida is literally a Scion. Why would you do it? Terrible fucking card.
James, the resident Scion player.
1.
I still think the card's really good, so I still think the card's strong in whatever you put it in. It's just not as strong.
It's the same thing I have with the EUwin. What do you put it in right now?
Avalanche. If you can fit a one of this in Avalanche, I think you're fine.
I can tell you right now, Avalanche does not have the space for this. Especially with the new stuff coming out in this next set.
I think it could.
I'm going to play this Lich, though, in Avalanche. The art's cool.
Go ahead, James.
Oh my god, this art's sick as fuck. When Lich deals damage to a forward or is dealt damage by a forward, break that forward. When you receive your 5th point of damage, you can pay an earth. If so, play the Lich on the board, dole, whatever.
The art's sick.
For him playing on the dole, playing on the field, but whatever. So we already talked about this, how I wanted to play this card, which is I want to play a monk style deck where I just have this thing fight everything and everything just dies.
Yeah. It does what the almost what the monster does.
Yeah. Well, it does what the
not
monster,
the monster isn't Lich, but
the
Hades.
Monster, the Hades monster.
Yeah.
I want this art too. I want this card.
You want all of them. At least aim for one of each.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I was doing with my Archfiends.
Love this card.
I like Lich a lot.
I love this art so fucking.
I like Tiamat's art, but Lich is definitely fucking up there.
I also think this one. So, if you had a way of readying the first one, what was the first one? It was
Merilith.
The first strike. If you had a way of readying that on your opponent's turn, that card's very good as well. I think this card is the most playable one we've read so far. In the sense of you're going to play the Bismarck over the Hydra, over the Tiamat. This one you can play and have audible outs that you can make. When you play it, you go, cool, I'll have this dude fight immediately. You can just go fight, kill that dude, and have immediate things you can do with this, where the other ones won't gain that.
Mm-hmm.
This one you can just have something that says have your 2 dudes fight.
Well, if you have fight triggers too. Cause in a monk deck, this is really good for the fight triggers. The second you play this, you can trigger a fight trigger and just fuck something off board.
What I'm saying is, like, on 5th damage, this is the only card where if you play it, it does something.
Yeah.
Because if you have fight triggers, you can instantly start doing things.
Yep.
It doesn't have to sit and wait for a turn, which is very good. Still, that ability for 5th point damage fucking blows. Why would anybody ever want to fucking wait till 5 to do it? Though this is the only like really good ability on any of these cards. The Tiamat's okay, but you just play Bismarck instead.
Yep.
Rudy, I'd say honestly probably like a 6 at best.
I put 7.
Yeah. Like
if played properly, yeah. Rydia, 3. I would never want to play this Rydia over any other Rydia existing in the game right now.
Use 1 forward break zone from the field during this turn. Yeah.
Like, why play her when you could play Regis and do the same thing for 2 forwards?
Yep.
And get
when the 3-drop Rydia that grabs the summon's just better.
Yeah. Why play her when the new Water Rydia is just better?
Why play her when the 2-drop Rydia that gets counters to play?
See what I mean? Like, why play her when you could play 3 CP forward Rydia that picks up a fucking Kusith and gives all your dudes 1k in Brave? You see what I like? There's no reason I want to play this Rydia.
Like the worst Rydia, and that's
I think the card would be fine if it wasn't a Rydia. The card would be kind of okay.
It's weird how the most current printing of a character is probably the worst version of a character they printed.
Yep.
With a character that has so many different copies of it.
Last one under Earth, Lorenzo, 4 CP, FFBE 7k.
Whoa, what? There's Oh, these are the starter ones.
Yeah, they're starters.
They're on my screen, though.
When Lorenzo attacks, I do need the full arts of the starters too, so I can complete my... Yeah. When Lorenzo attacks, Lorenzo will not activate during your next active phase. When Lorenzo attacks until the end of turn, double its power, and it gains when he deals damage to your opponent. Choose a character in your break zone added to hand, right?
Yep. It's okay. The problem is, he sits for a turn and does nothing, so he's really fucking slow.
Yeah.
But he can pick up something.
He becomes a 14k, so they either say go ahead and pick up something, or
they
block and they lose their dude because it's a fucking 14.
But like, here's the question: why play this when you could just play
Durando
or play Cloud? Does the same thing, forces block.
Yeah, but the reason for this, the reason for this wouldn't be to force a block so much as, hey, choosing the character is the goal, but if you lose a dude, that's the bonus.
Yeah. What I'm saying is,
Cloud's goal is fuck your board up, block.
This card, when you play it, you're never adding a card to from your hand unless your opponent just doesn't want to lose something. And honestly, why would you not block? Because it's not like your opponent's going to be able to use this card next turn.
Yeah.
So like, there's no reason not to. This card literally says kill a dude on board and have it sit there for a turn and do nothing.
Yep.
This card's bad. This card, in my opinion, is like a 3 at best.
4. And then we move on to the lightning. Kachiga. I was not saving that the whole time, I promise. First one in lightning. Offjang and Mingjing. I'm sorry for butchering names. It's a 1-drop, 7k, right? Or is it a 3-drop? 3-drop. No. I'm on the wrong place. Lorenzo's a Dragoon, which is interesting. 1-drop, 3k. Sorry.
Lorenzo's a Dragoon?
Yeah.
Still a bad card. Even a Dragoon.
It counts as both in all situations. Dispel, special. Choose a character, it loses all abilities until end turn. Shield bash, special pay lightning. Choose 4, deal at 9k damage.
I think the Dispel is very good.
Dispel is very good. It's a 1-drop.
Yeah.
What's cool is,
You can play the other copies of this?
which I'm just going to skip and include her in this.
Here's the question.
Afmao, the one that searches for him, searches for Objang and Minjing, which means she searches for 2 copies of this card, or either one. Doesn't matter because either one works for the special.
Either one works. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, because it counts as both. So the special.
It says this character is also.
Okay, sorry. Also, yeah, so it would count. Because it's also card name Objang, meaning you can pitch an Objang, or it's also card name Menjing, meaning you can pitch card name Menjing. Which are backups currently, besides this.
I would want to read how. We'll talk about it later. I want to read how the special works.
So it's pay 2 for the girl that searches them. Pay 2 dole. Choose a card, or choose either one of them in your break zone out of the hand, so you can keep refueling.
We'll talk about other things.
Well, I'm including her with this because they're a combo pack. So
Find her.
she's literally 1 card,
2 cards.
1 card off. Because you go 1, oh, there she is.
Freya.
You go 1, there she is. So
She looks cross-eyed.
the issue I have is why her? What, like, do you play the backups in the deck just to search them? Because it feels weird. Like this deck is when you build this deck, you're building this deck specifically for these cards. So like you're playing so you can just pop things off board essentially or neg abilities. Yeah. It just feels like she's really good at backup searching. If you like played a 1-in-1, you play her and you get 2 backups out of it, which is cool. And the backups aren't terrible. But like otherwise, if you're playing for the forward, it feels off. But like you have to.
Is she the box topper?
No. Knowles. Who's the box topper? Minwoo should be the box topper, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Minwoo should be the box topper.
She definitely has promo next to her name. She might be the previous kids.
She could be.
Whatever. It's just that she has promo.
I put these cards all together at like a 6.
I think the Avjean Mujang are like a 7. I think she's like a 6 just because she searches. If you're playing a deck with them, you get the auto ability to have, actually maybe together like a 6-7.
Yeah.
To negate abilities or ping things off board and search for things is pretty nuts.
It again, when Soirees is like your biggest problem, this does shut down Edel and then says it's free game immediately after if you need to.
And it's
Next one is Red Mage. It's a 3 CP. No, it's a red mage.
Definitely looks like a first.
3 CP, standard unit, category 14, 7k. When it enters the field, you can pay a lightning and another. When you do so, choose 4 to cost 4 less and break it. Damage 3 when he enters. Choose a forward other than him until end turn gains 1k power and haste.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a good 5 to 6. I wouldn't go any higher.
Ah, 4.
Alice! That's on you, my guy. You're the soiree, man.
That's not soirees.
I mean, you're the Scion, man.
Alice, when Alice
Too many
enters the field,
S's.
choose a forward other than Alice in your break zone at the hand. Damage 3 when Alice enters. Choose a Scion. Choose 1 drop Scion forward other than Alice in your break zone at your hand. This card is good, but you'll never play it over the other Alice.
For the haste.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Add 2 is really good if you're playing a Scion engine specifically to pick up or play things. If you're playing Scion specific, I don't think you ever play this card. If you're just doing it to gain advantage.
What do you... I don't really have a ruling for this. What do you put it at?
In Scions, 0. You don't play it.
No.
Outside of Scions, maybe like 2 at best. 2, 3.
I'll take this next one.
Okay.
Aracia All Rashia. I hope I pronounced that right. Typo, 6 CP backup. When she enters the field, choose forward, break it. Why would I play her over Fail Thanos? Fail Thanos requires active, sure. But he has more targets he can hit.
She only breaks 1.
And she only breaks 1. For 6 CP. It feels bad.
Need type 0 specific.
Plus, if I'm playing type 0, I'm playing the 3-drop to search. Like, I just...
It's more of if you need a type 0 specific break. Like, you could search this out.
In what?
You can search it with, it searches Cadets, doesn't it? The card I'm thinking of?
The backup?
Yeah.
Same name.
No. There's...
No.
Doesn't... Oh, it picks up from discard pile.
Rem.
Rim picks up from discard.
Yeah.
But having the ability to pick this up, if you need it, is not terrible. But, like, yeah. You would never play that.
I would never play this over Fail Thanos, in my opinion.
Hey, it's a good card. This card is really good.
Yeah. You do that one. That does not look like a Freya. Dude, Freya's a fucking...
Ixion. If you cast Ixion, you may pay an extra 2
Oh, my God.
lightning and 2. Dude, break all the forwards of cost 2 or less. If you paid the extra cost, break all the forwards of 3 or less. So basically, it's pay 2, break 2 drops, all 2 drops, or break pay 5, break all 3 drops. Breaking all the 3s is very good. Breaking 2s is very nice for her cheap. I think it's a slightly over cost of breaking 3, but being able to switch between type of modes is very good.
So, I'm going to put this card at a 5. A 7 to 8 against Avalanche. Otherwise, what... Maybe Samurais.
Samurais plays a bunch of 3s, yeah.
But otherwise, like, why would you play this?
Yeah.
Why would you play this over, like, Shinryu? If you're aiming for 3s. Yeah. But twins isn't that hard.
Yeah.
Or that popular right now. But, like, over Shinryu, why not? Why play this?
Dragoons. A lot of their things are 3s. But yeah, there's no reason to play.
I'd rather just play Shinryu.
Yeah.
You get more out of Shinryu continuously.
Yeah.
It's a threat they need to deal with.
Yeah.
It's a cool card. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think it's a little overhyped.
I think it's very good situationally. It's a very nice.
Now, if it's at 4 or less, busted.
Oh, if it's at 4 or less, it would need to be like a 7-8 drop.
Yeah. I'll take it from here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll take Gushing for X-Death for 200, Alex. X-Death. 4-drop, 8k. That says, on play, when it enters the field, if there are 10 or more cards removed from the game, static, if there are 10 or more cards removed from the game, he gains 2k power. When he enters the field, remove all the characters in each player's break zone from the game. It's not that hard, actually. I've been, like, playtesting with this, and I found that probably by, like, turn 3 to 4, you're able to almost both characters will have, like, 10... Or both players will have like 10 characters in their fucking break zone. You just slam X deck down, and now you have that 20 mark, and he's now a 10k. Because at the end of turns, if there are 20 more cards removed from the game, your opponent selects a character they control and remove it from the game, which is nuts. This card, I could be overhyping the fuck out of this. I'll concede with James that this is easily a 9.
This is easily an 8-9. Yeah.
If you're pushing this card with like just playing the 2 CP Lightning Mannequin, this card almost becomes a 10 because you made it cost 1 less with 1 on field. With 2 on field, this is a 2-drop 10k that removes cards, which is nuts.
For how this set plays, I think this card should have been a light or a dark card.
For sure. Should have been. This card being a lightning card, I think, is fucking insane.
Being lightning, it's just okay. If it was light or dark, it would have been...
No, I think being lightning is insane. Lightning has a lot of straight break potential, so it's just more shit to fuel.
What I mean is for removal, for how much removal is in this set,
yeah.
This being a light or dark card made way more sense to me than it being a lightning.
So it's easier to slot in?
So you can slide into everything and it may function.
That's fair.
Almost every single color of this set got a removal card. A very good removal card.
What did Fire get?
I don't think Fire got anything. But Fire has a bunch... Fire got all samurais.
Yeah, Fire got the fucking samurais again.
Fire got
every
all samurais.
Fucking time. The amount of times I went, damn it, they gave them more fucking samurais. Like, Jesus Christ.
It became, this mono fire deck's really cool. This mono fire deck playing a bunch of samurais is really cool. Hey, this samurai deck's really nuts.
So yeah, X-Death, it fucking simple. And the sleeves, the set is X-Death sleeves for the pre-release kit. So nice. Next one. Oh.
Pretty well.
I fucking knew that. I knew he was going to do it. During each turn, when he's chosen by your opponent's summoner ability for the first time, cancel its effects. He's 4-drop AK, already nuts. He has an Alua effect. When he enters the field, gain a crystal. Sick. He's susceptible to being Ahmed, which blows, but like, eh. And then it's the risk you take when you have a bubble. And then New Moon Blade. Special, pay a lightning, pay another, choose 4 to cost 5 or less, break it, gain a crystal. So if you use it with Glacelia, you're going to go pay the crystal, pay 2, break a dude, gain the crystal back, and you essentially just paid 2 to break forward, which is fucking insane. And it's 5 or less, which is the key number there. If it was 4 or less, it would still be good, but not as good as 5 or less when 5 is like one of those key... It's that fringe point you need to be able to hit.
There's not a lot of 6 drops that matter. There's a lot of 5 drops right now that matter.
Oh, for sure.
Solid 7, though.
I'd put it in its deck, it's like an 8.
Yeah, in its deck.
Otherwise, it's a very solid 6 to 7. Yeah. 6.5 to 7.
It's a 4-drop with a bubble that you have to play in lightning because like you're not going to gain much advantage out of it in other sets outside of playing FFB. And having the bubble with a crystal is very nice.
Yeah. Next one is Orc. Lightning's monster. When it enters field, choose a damage forward, break it. So like if you could play this with Schultz and Ewan, and you have the potential of breaking 6 forwards for 1 CP, essentially. The only issue is that Schultz triggers to damage, and then you choose first, and then the damage happens. So if it has to be damage first beforehand. So you like play pings or whatever. And then pay a lightning and something, dole it, put it in break zone, choose forward, dole it. If it said choose forward, break it, and it said pay 4, I'd like that better, honestly.
This card's okay. It's like a 5.
It's a very 5. Next one, 4 CP backup. We have Sid of Clan Gully, FFTA2. It's a Clan Gully and member clan leader. Or Clan Gully member and clan leader. Kind of cool. EX burst, when it enters the field, choose lightning character, your break zone, add it to your hand. It's just idle list for lightning.
Yep.
That's all it is. So, solid. It's a very basic 5.
Yeah.
You're on the next one.
Quan. He looks very methodical. Quan says, pay 1 dole, choose a forward you control until the end of the turn, gains 2k in haste. You can only use this ability if you control. You can only use the ability if you control 1 forward. This card is, in my opinion, not the greatest, but having the ability to, on the first turn you play something, tap this and something else, and be able to see. No, he doesn't even have to put it in the discard pile. Give something 2k in haste seems very, very strong. Being able to give haste to things like Squall if it doesn't have it already. Being able to give haste to anything that like Tenzin, Cyan, these big things that give damage on attacks seems very, very strong. I'll let you talk about this one because I know you're hyped about this one.
Man in Black?
Man in Black.
Man in Black. Let's go.
Shout out to Will Smith.
Well, that's men. Really? You're going to go for Will Smith and not Tommy Lee Jones as well? Fucker. 5 CP 9K category 4. What's his job? We don't know. You cannot play Man in Black or card named Golbez while already in control of either character. When Man in Black enters the field or attacks, fucking nuts. Choose one summon or break summon, remove it from the game. You can cast it at any time you can normally cast it. When you cast a summon, choose up to one forward. It gains forward cannot attack or block until the end of turn. So here's the nuts part. When you cast a summon, so it's whenever you cast a summon, he's a fucking 9k, so he doesn't die to Amma.
Yep.
And he free cast on enter and on attack. Meaning you're at least able to...
Not free cast.
Sorry, he lets you recast a summon.
Yeah.
And generally what we see is a lot of characters are getting removed, but not summons. So, like, Edward can kind of fuck this up, but not heavily, because if you have a summon in hand, you can just use that anyways. The card is still going to get removed anyways.
Honestly, it doesn't matter if Edward removes it.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it already...
Choose a summon in the break zone. You choose your summon. They remove it. You can cast it any time that you can normally cast it. It's either removed from game pile. I'll cast it.
And yeah, fucking...
As far as I can tell, that's how that ability should work.
Nuts. Yeah, I think this card's fucking insane.
I won't know specifically, but that's how I think.
This card plus the new Hooded Man are... Oh, fuck. Category 4, you can theoretically play Category 4 under Earth, Lightning, and Wind. Maybe Water, Lightning, and Wind, but Lightning and Wind are two strong elements to play Category 4 under now. For sure. Like, it's not split too far apart. It's really...
Cecil, right?
Yeah.
So I guess Wind's fine.
It's really...
Lightning, Water has...
Water has Roses and Theodore, or Wind Theodore. Water also has Porum and Lenora. Earth will have Ursula, Yang, Luca, and Baigen, which actually you might just do Earth. Actually, I rephrase that. You should do Earth because you get to play Golbez, which Baigen can trigger off a Golbez, or just Baigen in general is a really good card. Scarmiglione's cool. Like you get a lot more off of Earth. So it'd be like Earth, Lightning, Wind, which is sick. Sick as fuck. But yeah, I would rate this card at a 7.5 to 8.
I'd say almost 8.
I wouldn't put it at a 9 because it doesn't cast the summon. If it casts the summon, it'd definitely be a 9.
Also make it cheaper or colorless.
Yeah.
You're forced to play whatever colors you're playing.
Yep, but it's any summon, which is actually super sick because you can play like in a shore and restand your fucking board, and then be like, that can't attack or that can't block, and like laugh at them in their faces.
So you have to play whatever colors you're playing.
Yep. You want the next one?
Salary. When she enters the field,
One drop 2k.
One of the following 3 actions. Choose a forward duel it. You pay a lightning, and if you do, choose a forward of cost 2 or less, break it. And then pay 3 lightning. If you may pay 3 lightning, when you do, choose one active forward, deal a 9k.
So you can pay 4 and 9k inactive, pay 2.
No.
What do you mean no? She's a 1 drop.
One of the 3.
I know she's a 1. I'm saying you can either.
Yeah, so you can either pay 4 counting her. Okay.
Yeah. Pay 2, break something, or pay 1 to dull. So she's a Kate's at that worst at that point without the X burst. But you know what's kind of cool about her?
I like the fact that there's a lot of things that are pay a little bit more, get a little bit more out of.
You know what's really cool about her?
Huh.
Do you see what her job is?
No.
Black Mage.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's a Black Mage. I can put her in Mage hand, and like I have another cheap target for Diana to search out that just goes boop, blow a dude.
Also, actually play her in Roadrunners too.
Yeah, you could. Roadrunners is taken apart at this point. It was a really good deck.
I mean, like,
it did its job, but it is very good. Yeah.
Deal 9K to something.
Roadrunners benefited so much from small dudes. It was insane.
Yep, and this is one of those small dudes that you can benefit from.
Yeah.
Next up is Cisne.
You boys got this. I'm a Turks bitch. 2 drop 5k. Let's be real. This card's never going to be an actual 5k on the field. When she enters the field, you can discard a card. When you do so, choose 4 to deal at 1k damage for each CP required to cast the discarded card. If you discarded a job member Turks, deal at 5k as well, or also, meaning you can do minimum of 6 CP damage for roughly free, depending on how you do it, right? Because if you off 2 or 4, fucking theoretically, the best bet, off 4 backups went, I'm going to play this Sung. Oh, look, I'm going to search. I'll play this Cisne. I picked up a Turk. I'll discard this Turk. Like, that's 6k damage for 4 CP with 2 bodies on
I
board.
think you'll have to watch out for that. It is X plus 4 separately.
Yeah. So Minwu effects kind of fuck me up.
Minwu effects fuck you up, and anything that reduces fucks you up too.
Yeah. And then a damage 3, she gains 2k power, haste, and brave, which is also nuts because I think it's very important that Turks has another forward besides like the old Opus 10 Reno. I think it's Opus. I don't remember for sure, but the old 3-drop Reno that has haste and Elena. It needs another haster as well, just for that extra push, because by that time you should be able to establish the new Reno and the new Root on board, and then just kill them from there. No. 3 throw up 5k typo Jack.
Pick the logic.
If he deals damage,
waff-ass looking characters.
if he deals damage to your opponent or forward, double the damage instead. That's kind of cool.
It's fine.
Because he deals 2.
Yep.
That's the only cool part.
Huh? Oh yeah.
And he can trade up. He can 10k.
He trades and can deal more if your opponent doesn't deal with it.
But like,
he also doesn't play himself early, doesn't gain advantage off anything.
Nope. I'd rather just play the one. I'd just rather play the 1 CP one that sits there for a hot minute, and I can dole it to play my 9 for free.
Yeah.
This one feels like it costs too much. If there's any way to boost his power, sure, but like otherwise.
Any way to easily play him for free? Maybe.
Yeah, like they should do what they did with Cater and 8. Cater restands, backups, or pings. 8 comes in for free and has haste. He costs 1 less for each that you haven't played. So like maybe not 8, but like Cater, or similar to like what they did with 9. Like just give us ways where we can use the board that we've established to play these cadets a bit cheaper. You know what I mean?
Like tap 2 X types play Jack or something.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really neat if that's how Type 0 played, which is they had just committed their own characters to play a bigger board, but the bigger board died more easily.
That'd be fine. You're taking that risk,
Yeah.
Next one.
Knight.
2 CP of 5k, and it's not even a job Knight.
Right?
Yeah. If Knight's active, Knight cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. If Knight stole, it gains 3k power.
So an 8k on your opponent's turn and a
8k on swing, too.
Yeah. Just
Next one is also a Knight. Dole, choose an active forward, deal 4k damage. If you received appointed damage this turn, deal 8k damage instead. It's okay. It's cool. Yeah. It's only active forwards, which is like always Lightning's biggest issue, is it has to be an active card. So 5.
The one you wanted.
Yeah, dude, look at the full art.
Oh, there's a full art of it? Full art looks just as good as the first one. I don't think it's any better.
Dude, I think the full art makes it look so much better.
I think they both look okay.
Hooded Man. It's the legend. 4-drop 8k. You cannot play Hooded Man or card named Kane while already in control of either character. Makes sense. Static has haste. When he enters the field, choose a card named Hooded Man or card named Kane in your break zone. Remove it from the game. When you do so, you can restand, what is it, up to 4 backups?
All the backups.
Restand all your backups.
And draw a card.
So, Cecil into any category 4 to restand 2 into Hooded Man is nuts. Or even Cecil in... Yeah, you don't want to do Cecil in the Hooded Man. It feels redundant. But, like, that's insane. I think this card's nuts. Especially only if you use it for the turn it's played, and then you just play a Kane after. Like, I don't feel bad about that. Or you play the 4 CP Hooded Man instead. Like, I wouldn't feel bad about it. I think it's insane.
2-drop Kane from the one set seems nice, too.
Yeah.
Did you say that already? I wasn't sure.
I was just saying play a Kane. There's a few good different Kanes. Yeah. Mainly the 8 CP and the 2-drop.
Yugiri!
You got that one?
Yeah. EX Burst, when Yugiri enters the field, you may search for a job ninja or a card name ninja. Other than Yugiri and add to your hand, you can discard a total of 2 job ninja or card name ninjas to choose a 4 cost or less and break it. 4 to 4 cost or less. This is a very cool ninja card. I don't think ninjas are super relevant right now.
I think it's just a better Yugiri for the ninjas to play.
Oh, yeah.
Because ninjas will start name clashing, and at that point, you could just discard the extras to break something. And then you can use Edge on top of it to ping things off board. Yep. But, like, the issue with ninjas is they're very small, they're very squishy. They're fast. That's their biggest plus, but, like, they are very small. And she's a searcher. Like, it's not terrible.
Not terrible.
If she was a backup, it might be a bit cooler, but honestly, as a forward searcher, isn't that bad either. She kind of recoups the cards. I'd put her at a 3 to 4. In a ninjas deck, I'd put her at a 5 to 6. Yeah, I'd say she's very integral. Next one. Liart. When a character is put from the field to the break zone, Liart gains 2k power until the end of turn. She's a 4-drop 8k?
4/8, yeah. So
if a character is broken, essentially, she becomes a 4/10 10. She's a ranger. She's an FFBE, which is like kind of cool, but like it's an FFBE that doesn't.
4 or 5 at best.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. She's cool.
More dragoons.
This dragoon's nuts for dragoons because they're job standard unit dragoons. So it's the same as the samurai backup would be.
Well, you play it, and that's better in job for dragoons.
Let me actually double check something real quick. Because if I'm right, the sickest job or the sickest dragoon in terms of the 3 drops, I think is the job standard, which is nuts if it is. I just don't remember. It is, yep, standard unit. The Opus 12 one that says on play, reveal a job dragoon from your hand that gains haste, or you can reveal 4 and choose forward and break it. So you'll just be like, Dole, break dragoon, play this dragoon, reveal 4, break a dude.
Nice.
Chump block if needed. It's fucking insane. Almost all of the dragoons are job standard units and cards named dragoon, which is nuts. It's so good.
I'm about to click on the, yeah. Because now we're going to water, and I clicked on the man in black from the other side.
Water. Okay, so Blue Mage.
Blue Mage.
Is, God, I love Blue Mages as a concept, but like this one's actually not as bad when I think about it. 2 CP, 3 drop. Or 3k, sorry. Pay 1, choose forward, and your opponent's break, so removed from the game. Blue Mage's... That's even more nuts, actually. Blue Mage's power becomes the same as that forward until the end of turn. It's opponent's... Last time I read it, I didn't read the opponent's part, and I thought it was my break zone. The fact that it says, remove a card in your opponent's break zone and be big like that card, the knock was me. Is in-fucking-sane. It's nuts. It is a 2-drop 3k, which is... it's not as good as a standard unit, so there's a lot of standard units going around, but they also fucking put in Shadow Lord to tell your standard units to shut the fuck up. All in all, I'll put this at a 6 because water has a way of removing, and the way it removes is actually kind of cool. It's just pay 1, remove. And I'll be big. And if you need to change its power to like around, you can. You could start off small and go big if need be, or whatever reason.
Alphanaud.
Yeah, that's a you thing.
Alphanaud is a 4-drop 7k. When they enter the field, draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. Damage 5 when they enter the field. Choose a 4 to 4 cost or less from your break zone other than Alphanaud and play it on the field. I think this card is nuts. I've been wanting a water Scion for a while.
Something to go with Thancred.
Something to go with Thancred. Something to go with if you wanted to play the Urianger, the water Urianger, or like I've been playing 14 mixed with Scions. It gives you better targets with what's the Primal's name? Doesn't die, draws you a card.
Lakshmi?
Lakshmi. Another water target in your deck for Lakshmi and Merle Web. Having more water cards makes the deck a little better.
I think Alphanaud's damage 5 is nuts.
Yes,
because you know what, it doesn't have a element restriction.
Yep.
So you could play 3 CP Y'shtola.
Yep.
And minus a dude.
Yep.
And draw 2 ditch. You could theoretically draw 2, ditch the Y'shtola, damage 5 trigger, play the Y'shtola, and you lost no value.
Yep.
And it's what, 4 CP?
Yep. 4
CP 7, which I think is fine. That's nuts.
Yep.
I'd put it at a 7 to 8.
I'd say 6 by itself, 7, 8 in Scions.
And Doria. She's a 4 CP backup typo. When she enters field, choose a forward. If you control 2 or more forwards, put it at the bottom of its owner's deck.
4-drop cards. Okay.
4-drop backup. She is very okay. She's very fair.
Yeah, like I would play the other name Doria if you're playing like an advantage deck. This is one of those things where I was talking about earlier, where why would you want to play something like this that's too slow? Water has a bunch of really good bouncing targets and stuff already, like Tross and all the Folka and all that. Why would you want to play this?
Because bottom decks instead.
It's just slow.
I think it's one of the it's the same as like Lizaf. You know you're only ever gonna play it once, and when you set it down, you're setting it down for a good reason.
Yeah,
she only requires 2 forwards on your field.
Yeah, it just feels slow. Why would you pay 2 to play this to bottom deck 1 thing?
I mean, it's not that bad when you think about it, right? Because like against you need 2 forwards against a soiree deck. Water can easily do that. They play really cheap dudes, but like against a soiree deck, the bottom deck is very important.
I'm just saying it's slow. Playing this is slow. especially in water right now, which plays very slow.
I mean, yeah.
Water
tends to. I don't know. I think this card's very meh, very fair.
It doesn't keep.
But I think against certain decks, this card is like really fucking good. Yeah. Because it's able to get around the usual ways of dealing of removing forwards.
If you're able to keep up and you can still play this, I think it's fine. Like if water can stay inside the game with soirees, it's fine.
I swear to fucking Christ, I'm gonna make a deck with like Fanfritz and Atomos and this goddamn Kuchulain. 4-drop. Water summon, EX burst, choose a forward at the beginning of the main phase of the next main phase 1. Put it in the break zone. So I could be wrong.
I hate the like sticky slime coming from.
I could be gushing for this card for no fucking reason.
It's neat.
But
the problem is you have to play this during your opponent's turn.
You can play it during your turn.
You don't. Don't do it. It's terrible.
You could, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying you can't.
Optimally.
You have to wait an entire turn for this.
No, you don't. Next main phase 1.
Oh. For some reason, I'm thinking your next phase.
No, if it was your next main phase, for sure you would play it in your opponent. Either turn, it's fine. Yeah. That's what I think is the cool part about it. Because if they play something reactively to you, you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to play this Kuchulain. Now I have an immediate way to deal with your big dude that I couldn't get around. Instant EX burst. It's super sick. And it says put in break zone, not break it. Also nuts.
Yes. So is this next thing. Quadav. When Quadav enters the field, your opponent selects one forward of cost 2 or less they control, put it in the break zone. Pay 2 water, pay 3, dull it, and put him in the break zone. Choose a forward your opponent controls, put on the top or the bottom of your deck. This card, despite being nice turtle, I actually think this card's terrible.
Yeah, I don't like you have to pay 5 to top deck or bottom deck a card. I'm sorry, when I could pay 4 to bottom deck a dude, or I could fucking play Titus and be like, touch me.
Titus has paid 3, the Doria has paid 4. Why would you pay 5 for a monster?
Typhon's pay 3. It doesn't top or bottom. Fucking Riku's pay 4. Like, why am I paying 6 CP?
I told you, I am tired of them. Oh, I looked at the Hydra. I looked at the squid.
It'll be next after this
after the
chemist.
It just, why would you pay extra? I'm tired of filling cards like this fucking chemist. Put chemist in the break zone. Draw a card, discard a card.
Honestly, I don't think chemist is that bad.
It's fine.
Chemist is a 5 to 6 because chemist lets you cycle through and draw cards. I think the draw 2 is the nuts part of chemist. It gives you another.
If you've taken damage, it replaces itself.
Obviously, especially with this game, you want the resources in hand, and chemist definitely does that.
It just feels bad because chemist. The only time chemist is good is if you've taken damage. I don't think it's good if just playing it by itself, unless you're trying to funnel for something.
I mean, generally, I think obviously damage matters with actual tournaments, but when I'm playing a deck, generally, I think going to damage 5 is not that big of an issue. Going to damage 6 will obviously be an issue. If you're okay going past damage 3, you stop at 5. You don't stop at 4. You stop at 5 because that's when everything else can trigger. Going to 4 is the worst fucking feeling.
The problem this card has is playing it if you haven't taken damage just feels bad unless you're having to funnel for something because you need it at this second.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm at damage 6 and I need to funnel for this specific card to live or I lose. That's the only time you want to play this card at any other moment besides after you've taken damage.
Yeah.
Because draw 2, discard 1 at least replaces the chemist. If not, you're nagging at least 2 CP. Technically, because you played the chemist to do nothing.
Hey, I mean, if you play this card in a Water Knights deck with Garland, you static draw 2, discard 1, or draw 3, discard 1.
Garbage, and I hate it.
Kraken. The art's so good, but they're not. Kraken on swing, draw a card, discard a card from your hand. When you receive the 5th point of damage, play him. Why couldn't it be draw 2 ditch?
Even then, it's not even good.
It would have been better though. It would have been way better if it was draw 2 ditch. Because imagine having a Mog on field, drawing 2, Kraken, draw 2 ditch.
Pay 5.
He's a 9K. He's got to sit there for the turn so you can get your draw 2 ditch.
Nah, he's gonna get killed. Doesn't matter.
Good. Fuck them. Bad. I hope they waste the resources on him. Then I'm so annoyed.
That's so bad.
Why did they do this, dude? Have you seen? It's a job chaos, right?
I believe they are job chaos. I'll have to look at stuff later.
You can toggle the thing over. You know.
I don't know how.
You just click on click on a thing, Yeah.
Yeah, but then I can't read.
And then you just move it back.
They have job chaos.
So the job chaoses. I'm just gonna go through this for you real quick because
Yeah, there's one that's.
there's 3 sets of job chaoses for each of these, including this new set. Each of these guys, and then there's chaos and chaos. The 11 CP and the 1 CP backup that you're like in love with. So 4 CP, Kraken, Lich, Tiamat, and Merilith say when they enter the field, you can discard a job chaos. When you do, draw 2. That's what Kraken does that. Lich says you can discard 1, choose a card in your break zone, add it to your hand. Tiamat says when it enters, you can discard 1, choose a character of 5 or more, break it. And then Merilith says you can discard 1, choose forward, and 8K. Those are okay.
All better than these.
All better than the new ones. The ones before this,
The art not as good.
the ones before this say when Kraken enters, pay a water, pay another. When you do so, choose a forward, return it to the owner's hand. When it's put from field to break zone, search for a job chaos other than Kraken, add it to your hand. 5 drop 9K. Lich, 5 drop 9K. They're all at this point. The other ones are 4 drop 8Ks. When Lich enters, pay his element, pay another one. When you do so, choose a forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. When he goes to break zone, search for a chaos other than Lich. Tiamat says pay 3. 2 of win, 1 of any color. Choose forward to 5 or more, break it. When it goes to break zone, search for another. Merilith says pay 3. When she goes to break zone, 7K, or when she enters 7K something, when she goes to break zone, search. They're all better than the new cool ass art ones that we have, and it annoys me.
And they're full arts too. They're full arts, and these cards blow.
The only thing I think that makes them
Please sponsor us.
the only reason I think these cards are worth playing is if you play the 4 CP line and you ditch those for the added effects, and then at damage 5, maybe you'll get lucky and you can play them.
It still just feels like a lot.
It still feels bad.
It's like I'm going through and looking at them as well, but like
It still feels bad.
still feels bad.
I'd rather play the 1 CP chaos and remove and like get rid of him to remove a forward. Or a character, my bad.
It's real weird how the 2-drop chaos isn't a chaos.
Yeah.
That's weird. I would really like that chaos to be a chaos.
Like, what the fuck? I know this is supposed to be like a first impression set review. It's gotta be long, but like it's gonna be, you know, that's the whole point. You just play this, you listen to it, whatever. But like, why? The 4 CP Kraken is infinitely better than this Kraken.
Yeah.
On play, ditch 1 to draw 2?
Yeah.
What? It's 4 CP. You just got your cards back. Like, what the fuck?
But you got 1 extra card back. You didn't get both back.
I mean, theoretically, you got what you paid to cast him back, and then you can, if you use any of the new ones, you can use them as setup fodder.
It just feels bad.
So bad. All right, next one. Glacelia.
Was that? Dude, do you think she is her daughter? His daughter?
The one dude's daughter? Yeah, probably. I don't know FFBE lore, so 3 drop 7K. When you can pay a crystal instead of the special when paying for special abilities of category FFB characters you control. When she enters field, gain a crystal. You can Ama her. It happens. Sunfire Burst. Special. Pay a water, pay another. Choose a forward, deal 2K damage for each character you control. Card's nuts.
Yep.
If you play an FFBE deck, this card is your linchpin card and crazy fucking good.
This is the only reason the new FFB stuff is nuts.
Yeah.
This turns everything that would be 6.
Well,
7.
theoretically, 2 of them can stand on their own.
Yeah.
This one makes all the other ones
This turns
way
everything
better.
that's like a 5 or a 6 into like a 7, 8, 9.
Yep, easy. This card itself is, I would make this card an 8 just because of the ability to boost every other part of its set.
I would make this
or its deck.
7 because you have to specifically play FFBE. It can't sit by itself. And it also depends on...
I mean, she can function by herself though too.
Yeah, but like,
You deal 2K for each character you control. That's nuts.
It's fine.
But-
I think the entire kit just like sits at 6 or 7 and just gets better together.
Next one, Corellia.
This card that makes knights better.
I guess. If you control water forward other than it, it gains 1K power. If you control job knight forward other than it, it gains 1K power. So it's a... if you play it with B, it's a 1 drop 9K. If you don't play it with B, it's a 3 drop 9K.
Which still isn't terrible.
It's not terrible.
And it's a knight, right?
It's just a 3 drop, which is awkward. If it was a 4 drop, I might feel a bit better about it.
It's a knight that triggers Laswell.
It is a knight that triggers Laswell. We have a Corellia already.
Is it better than this one?
They're
For the knights, then.
they're both actually not terrible for knights. in my opinion.
And now we continue with the dual horn
Dual
trash
horn.
cards.
Marquis the Phantasm, 3 CP, 7K. I can't believe they wasted the full arts on this, but it's just me.
Especially since like
I think this card is okay with one. It's just like they don't
they don't do anything.
Their archetype isn't fleshed out yet, so it feels really weird.
Yeah.
The opponent's forwards enter the field dull. That's actually okay.
Yeah.
If you control the card Alice the Enscorcelled, I believe. Marquis the Phantasm gains 2k power. When he enters the field, choose a job dual horn in your break zone. You can pay X if its cost is X, play it onto the field.
Yeah. So it plays a dude, which is cool.
It'll probably play Alice, so it's a
so
9k.
It's a 9k, and the Alice is real cool.
Yeah.
When it can play.
Honestly, it's the cool. It's not the coolest. I think Snakeheart is the coolest card.
Snakeheart is the better card, but inside the dual horn kit,
it
is your best card.
It is the best card in the kit.
It just the dual horns aren't good. There's 4 cards.
Yeah. If they gave this a Lord and this card, I think it'd be fine because this is the most fair way you can make a Lord without it being fucking Matametal levels. You know.
Yeah. Except this isn't a Lord.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if they made a Lord and this instead of putting them as one. Yeah. Next one, Gordon. Hey, it's category 2.
Commissioner.
2 CP back. 2 CP backup. When he enters the field, draw a card and then discard a card from your hand. When he enters the field, you can pay a water. If you do so, draw a card. No. He should be a prince, yeah.
He looks like a Viking too. He looks like he plays like a Viking.
So it's 3 CP, draw 2, ditch 1.
Yeah.
It's middling. 4 to 5. Maybe I'm undervaluing the ability to draw 2, ditch 1, but like right now, unless you're playing a fucking Mog deck and you're just looking to draw cards.
Hey, let's be honest. It's better than the Kraken.
It is better than the Kraken.
This should have got a full art. This literally
hashtag full art Gordon.
This literally does more than the Kraken.
Isn't that sad? It does more than the 5 CP 9k.
If there was just something else so if there's something we're missing, please tell us, please. Because like these fucking feel terrible to me, especially for full arts. I haven't found one thing in here unless we're gonna come up to it that makes those better. Like unless there's a Lord we're not seeing, or like a puppeteer in the back row or something that we're not seeing. I don't fucking get how these cards are good. They feel very lackluster. Like the Merilith sits on the board and does nothing. It's a first striker that only comes in dull. Because you're never gonna.
They all come in dull.
You would never want to pay 5 for it. Well, I'm saying there's other things you can do. You never want to pay 5 for it.
Yeah.
The Tiamat is real cool. It bounces dudes on your board, which is real neat.
You know what's sad?
Huh?
Rufus. The dual colored Rufus is a 4-drop 9k with first strike and brave.
Yeah.
Without his ETB, already better than her.
Yes.
Hands down.
Yes, and then the 5-drop for the 5-drop Earth, which was
Lich,
is the only good one so far.
Mm-hmm.
Because it on the board can actually do things.
Yep.
And coming back is still relevant in play, even dull.
Yep.
Because you can make it. Their Earth does a lot of fighting, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Water, Kraken, fucking blows.
Draw one ditch, doesn't do shit.
Doesn't do anything. Why print it?
It's not enough.
And
that's the issue.
Tiamat's good. Dude, bouncing a dude on attack's real neat. Whatever. Why would you just not play
Bismarck?
It does the same thing. You get more out of it. It can ping things on board, and you draw a card off of it. It's just better. There's nothing in the Chaos Engine right now that does things that makes you want to.
Oh, that's funny. Bismarck with Typhon also means dull Typhon, 2k something, and then bounce it back and draw a card. Typhon getting better.
All the time. Okay, so we got Gordon. Let's go to Zazan.
Minwoo. It's just the 5 CP 9k with Minwoo.
What's his job?
Warrior. Category FFPE.
Garbage card. Who cares?
Alice the Enscorcelled. This is Ville Dull. Does not active during your active phase. If you control Marquis of the Phantasm, she gains 2k, and then when she attacks, your opponent selects 1/4 they control and puts it in the break zone. How the fuck are we restanding this card on a consistent basis?
You know what I'd be fine with? Is if this said, when you play a different dual horn, ready it.
I'd be so okay with that.
Like, If they don't play a dual horn every single turn, it stays committed. You don't do anything with it; it stays tapped. But if you play a dual horn, it readies. So on your turn, you have her on board. You play your 3-drop. You pay X. You play your other dude, and she readies. The other thing you can do is she's tapped on your opponent's turn. I have this back attack. I'll play this back attack. She readies. Easy, simple. And you just make it once per turn, so you can't abuse her.
Yeah.
That's the absolute... Would have made this entire kit better. Making that one key switch. Still could use a Lord, but...
White Mage.
Make one key switch and that card gets better.
For sure. White Mage. Samurai's water card.
Yeah.
5, literally.
Play a standard.
New Princess Sarah.
It's really neat that they printed all these White Mage and all these other things that play standard units, and printed Shadow Lord that kills all the standard units.
Yep, that's the point. They have to. It'd be nuts. Princess Sarah. 1-drop, 7k. Can't attack or block. When Princess Sarah is chosen by a summoner ability, you may draw a card. Effect only triggers during your opponent's turn, only once per turn. Now, James, I know what you're thinking.
Do you? Because I haven't read the card yet.
What's the point of this card?
Give me 1 second. I'm looking at something else real quick.
Stop cheating.
No, I'm going backwards, actually. I need to look at something else. No, break all forwards. Well, okay. I thought it said break all forwards and job standard units. With all forwards with job or all standard. I think the Shadow Lord would have been better if it broke all standard unit cards.
Huh. You mean... Oh, gross.
Yeah. Makes it... what it makes is people that are abusing the crystal engines have to pay for that. If you're playing a bunch of those 2-drop crystals, you get dicked for it.
No, what the fuck? That's not.
You're playing a
You should not be allowed to play a card that can actually completely wipe an opponent's board with one answer.
Entire kit where your entire engine is, I'll play a 2-drop that gets me crystal that I'll use to free play something else later in the game. That also has another ability that gives first strike, brave, pings things, protects things, and what's the other thing? I don't remember what the 5th thing was. But you know exactly what I mean. You should not be able to play a 2-drop
Dulls.
that lets you... Dulls. You should be able to play a 2-drop that gives you a crystal that lets you play things for free later, and be able to have another...
Well, the crystals don't let you play things for free. The crystals are an enhancement that allow you to use abilities cheaper or use abilities.
Yeah, sure.
But it doesn't let you play things. Only with Soul does it do that.
What I'm saying is, you can turn a 3-drop Satomos into a 1. Soul plays the dude for free.
I don't think that should exist when the worst card in the game to have played against you is a Shantoto that wipes your board. In Arden can board wipe, but they need the cards in hand. What is Shadow Lord's offset? 1 point of fucking damage?
Yes.
That's not enough. That is not a big enough offset for killing forwards and backups.
For every 3, take a point of damage.
Still doesn't feel like it's a big enough offset. If I'm allowed to sit here and wipe your board and you have 5 backups and 3 forwards, I don't feel bad. 2 points of damage, whoop-de-doo.
I mean,
you don't come back from that though. Like Shantoto resets to neutral. Susano
does not reset to neutral.
Resets to neutral. That's their goals. If you did that with Shadow Lord, that's not resetting to neutral. That's fucking taking the game.
What color are we in?
Water.
I found it. Oh, we're on the Princess Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. Cannot attack or block. Sarah's chosen by an ability or summon draw card. Hey, look, that's a fucking 1-drop. Real weird. It's a fucking board.
So, the coolest thing I've seen that I've read for it.
This card is literally that Rosa I told you to play for your forward.
Kadaj can give her power at their end phase, and you draw a card. Because it doesn't matter who chooses her. You could bounce her to draw a card.
That's not bad.
You could blank her with Kuchulain, on stack, draw a card, and then she's able to block.
She's really good with Porum.
You draw 2 cards, actually.
She's really good Porum.
Just blank her and draw?
Yeah,
block with her?
If you don't blank anything during your opponent's turn and they go to the end, I'll blank her, draw her. 1-drop that doesn't do
What are they going to do?
What's her job? Princess? So, like, who cares?
Yeah, she's...
she's just like the... I told you to play Rosa for your 4 deck. It's the same thing.
Which Rosa? The 3 CP Rosa?
The backup, water backup that says when your cards are chosen by a summons, you draw a card.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. It's not a forward that dies.
Fremelda.
1/7 games is weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. It's because she can't attack or block, so like you have to just have things that keep blinking. I mean, Ash. No, but Ash is on your turn, so it doesn't matter. Fremelda.
Fremelda hard.
Damage 3 EX burst when she... Oh, sorry. She's a 3-drop 7k, Sword Saint, FFTA2. When she enters the field, choose a forward the opponent controls, loses 7k until the end of turn. Damage 5, she gains 1k power when she attacks. Choose a character the opponent controls, put in break zone. She becomes a 3-drop 8k at damage 5 that can break things, quote unquote.
Eh.
It's a character, which is the nuts part.
Character?
Yeah, it's choose a character.
Okay, that's not terrible. That's damage 5, you get to do that.
Yeah, and damage 3 on play, you can 7 or neg 7.
That's cool if you kill something. If you're not able to kill anything, damage 3 doesn't matter. Damage 5 is only good when she attacks. So like it's a very weird point where she either needs haste to be able to really get in there real early with damage 5.
Or you just play her on damage 3 and sit on her.
Or you need something that you kill on damage 3. Because
Yeah.
I feel like just playing her for free just doesn't...
I'm sure there's enough targets on damage 3 for her. There's a lot of 2-drops running around.
Also, figured out Shadow Lord. Choose a job or break all standard units. So you don't wipe the entire board. You can either wipe an entire job off the board.
Oh yeah, unless they're playing an entire board of standard units.
Yeah, because yeah, you know what? Fuck you. You're saying
Fucker.
all specific job forward, or destroy all standard units.
Sure.
I don't know. I also hate the crystal makers. So like, I think it's way too undercosted. Also, I hate all of the free crystals you get for playing FFBE this format. It's gonna be dumb as fuck.
It's only a few cards.
It's the entire FFBE engine. That
No. Not all the FFB cards will generate crystals though.
The entire FFBE engine you want to play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna cut it down to water and wind, and maybe splash in another color. But water and wind is just fine.
That was really good.
Yeah, water, wind, lightning.
Yeah.
That was nuts. Next one, Miranda, 4-drop, 8k. Would you look at that, man? Red mage, kind of cool. Special resistance break. Special pay a water. Choose a forward. Deal 3k damage for each card in your hand. Pay a water, 3k a forward for each card in my hand. Very basic, very balanced. It's a 5, goes to 6, 7, maybe even 8 with a Glacelia on board.
Seems really good. I'm going to the bathroom, and then we'll finish this up.
Yo. All right.
On to the biggest disappointment of this set.
Minwoo. 5 CP 8k. Category 2, White Mage. Before paying the cost to cast Minwoo, you can remove 3 summons, each of a different element in your break zone from the game. Reduce the cost required to cast Minwoo by what? 2, 3?
I don't see a number here. Sorry. I was on the other page to show it off the card. It is reduce. No, it's
I'm trying to read it through the spreadsheet.
by 3.
Reduced by 3, so it costs 2.
I had to shrink down the size again.
Choose or pay 0. Choose an ability that's choosing forward. You control cancels effects. You can only use this ability once per turn. So, for a legend, it doesn't feel impactful enough. Now, I could be wrong. I do think his action is really good. I think that action's nuts.
Oh yeah, sure.
It stops Maraud. It stops Soiree's form of killing. It also stops Samurai's single K pings as well.
Pay 0, cancel an ability once per turn is nuts.
Yeah.
That is a great ass fucking ability. He doesn't do fucking shit. He sits on board and gets played for 2. That's it.
You have to play multiple colors too.
Yeah. For being the
Face of this
face
set.
of this set, the set being called Rebels, Rebellion's Call, and there being one fucking rebel, him not being a rebel, or doing anything else.
I mean, him being a white mage makes sense more so, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, being a set that should have been centered a lot around set 2, not being centered around set 2 at all, seems dumb.
I mean, so let's take, for instance, Sarah from last set. Sarah was the face of last set.
Yeah.
Sarah said, if you control a category 13 of any other element, draw a card. On play, your opponent discards a card.
Yeah.
So that's fine. And she may have been a legend, I think. She was balanced out. She was like a 3-drop 7k.
Fine.
But like, it didn't ever feel bad playing her. I feel like Minwoo's gonna feel bad if you don't play him early on, because if you don't play him early on, his ability just feels worthless. It feels like it's too late.
Don't get control of it.
Yeah.
And even if you do play him early, he is 100%. I guess he can't be Ahmed. That's neat, actually. He's not Amma bait.
He's not Amma bait.
That's fine, but like it still feels underwhelming.
He doesn't do with break zone except for removing, which you do already, so
Cat
your
2's
opponent can't
not
do shit
good.
about that.
They didn't add anything to Cat 2 to make it better. He's a Mobius, which isn't terrible.
Yeah.
That's not terrible. You can build a Mobius deck
You could build a Mobius deck.
and get away with it. But like it's still just, and especially Mobius will be more than 3 colors, but you'd have to play 3 different colors worth of summons, which is the part that
You're definitely playing Earth already.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna play Fire
for Amma.
for Braska and Amma.
And then water, you can play Chuchulain and Atomos and whatever else you want to play.
Or you just leave him fine and you play something else that just color fixes.
Yeah, but you need 3 different summon colors to play him.
Lightning.
Yeah, like
You get a lot more
you have to
Lightning
remove
Mobius cards.
3 different elements from your break zone in summons. So
I put him. Minwoo as Minwoo, I put it maybe a 6. Minwoo's ability, I definitely put as a 10.
like that thing's like.
But because it's on Minwoo, it feels
it doesn't do anything else.
less. Yeah.
The Minwoo has to be played turn 1 to get full advantage, and there's no way to protect it, and it just dies.
Yep. Next one.
For being the big card on the set, it doesn't do anything.
Mog. I'm kind of okay with this card. When Mog enters the field, draw a card. 2-drop 4K. Sick. Category 6. And here's the kicker. Put Mog into the break zone. This turn, your opponent cannot search. I think that's fucking insane.
Really fun.
It's not like the best, but it's really good to like, it's like Amaing a Tyro. It feels better to just break the Mog because you already drew a card. You already replaced him. And now you cancel their search and they spent 2 cards out of hand probably and a backup down. And now they're done.
Bad is a 3-drop 4K.
Oh, it is a 3-drop. My bad.
It's a 3-drop 4K.
So turn 2 is where you really want to set him up, and then hopefully you're fine. But like, otherwise he's fine.
He at least he technically only costs 1 because he'll replace himself, but like,
Yeah.
Like it's real neat if you have a way like.
Plus he has a way to deal with Brynhilder if they decide to try and.
Where's he Mog?
He's a Moogle warrior.
He's a Moogle warrior. So with the Moogle engine, you can play Moogle engine and get away with that really easily.
And like again, he's really good for dealing with Brynhilder in terms of like if your opponent goes to Brynhilder him, you can just pop him in response and they don't get the draw because Brynhilder never touched. Ramada.
Yep.
7, 8. Ramada's an 8 with Glycelia. When 4-drop 7K when she enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls, return it to its owner's hand, gain a crystal. Sharp Spear, special. So pay a crystal. Until the end of the turn, she gains 2k power haste, and if she deals damage to your opponent, double the damage. It essentially becomes 2. She's a 4-drop 9k with haste that deals 2.
Yeah, which is pretty.
And bounces a card, which is nuts. That's what makes her nuts. Because she gets rid of a challenge and then swings.
Yep.
And your opponent either blocks and kills a dude.
She gets a crystal for it.
Yeah.
Remember what I said about crystals are too nuts?
So yeah, I think this card's definitely like a 7 to 8. Yeah.
Russian warrior.
Versen.
The Russian warrior.
Okay.
The weird Russian warrior.
I was like, what are you? I'm waiting for you to read it.
When the Russian warrior enters the field, you may pay 1 water and 1 other. When you do so, choose 1 forward your opponent controls and loses 5k until the end of turn. Damage 3, Russian warrior gains 2k, and when he attacks, you choose a forward your opponent controls and it loses 2k until the end of turn. So in 1 turn, not even 1 turn. That makes
it gains 2, and permanently, and then makes something lose 2 on swing, which is cool. When it enters, because it's what 2-drop, so you can essentially pay 4 to neg something by 5, and if you have the CP to do it again, you can play like Shinryu Celestia and neg something by sacking the warrior. You can neg something by a total of 15k.
If you play Wind, you can make something a 4k and then do it.
Yeah, like it's not terrible.
Okay, it's like a 4.
It's a standard unit, so like it's whatever, you know. You want to get yourself set up for light. Because now we got Engelbert.
Mom's Engelbert.
All right, listen here, man. You don't have to like start attacking my family anymore, okay? I don't attack your family. That's all I'm saying. I don't attack your family.
Okay. I'm ready whenever you are.
Cool. Engelbert. When he enters the field, gain 2 crystals. He is a 4-drop AK, so he's susceptible to Ama, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense. It's just how it happens. Like, it has to be. Pay a crystal, choose a forward against this forward is dealt damage by your opponent's abilities. The damage becomes 0 instead until the end of turn.
He's a nice 4K, like, a 4-drop, like
Pay 4 for 2 crystals. Actual curve when you can pay 2 for 1.
equal curve. Pay 4 for the same amount of crystals.
It said it was on curve. And you can spin crystals to keep. You can spin. Yeah, he protects himself from damage. He protects anybody from damage. Solid 6. Solid 6 to 7 actually. He gains 2 crystals. Maria.
Yeah.
Ave Maria. The forwards have cost 2 or less other than Maria you control gain 2k power. She's a rebel. Warrior rebel. Kind of cool. 2-drop 5k. When she enters the field, choose up to 1 backup you control activated. It loses all its abilities and also becomes a forward with 8k power. This effect does not end.
In this entire set to answer Rebellion's call.
He was saving up for that.
The fucking face. She's honestly much better than Minmu.
Oh, for sure. And she's a legend, like she should be.
Yes.
You know why she's nuts?
Because she plays a dude for free.
She turns a backup into a forward.
Yes.
That's an 8k. But the fun part is because if it's a 2 or less backup, it's a 10k. It's a 2-drop 10k for 2 CP.
Yes.
Essentially. Which is nuts. I think this card's fucking insane.
It's nuts.
And then on to Dark, which I think is just Verena and Emperor. Yeah. So Verena, 2-drop 5k assassin, FFBE. When the cost required to caster is reduced by 1 for each crystal you have. Nuts. She has haste, and when she attacks, you can pay a crystal if you do so. All the force the opponent controls lose 5k power until the end of turn.
Talk to me about crystals again, huh, buddy?
Nuts!
You want to talk to me about crystal generation again?
Insane!
Remember when I said your 2-drop crystal generations are too good?
And then Emperor. I think this card's infinitely nuts.
I love his art. His art's gonna
I think this card's nuts.
His art's gonna look real cool for
He's a 5 CP, 9k, already on curve with that. Emperor, category 2 with Brave, Dark, whatever, says if 1 or more Palamecia counters are placed on the Emperor gains, if it would receive damage, remove a counter from the Emperor. I can't read the rest. I have to shorten it. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec.
Remove from the...
Is it remove and then draw a card for each? Or no, remove and draw a card, right?
Oh, God.
I don't remember. I can't read. Oh, no. Panic.
If 1 or more Palamecia character counters on the Emperor gains if you would receive damage, remove 1 of the counters and the damage becomes 0. When Emperor enters, you may search for 2 cards.
There it is, yep.
Up to 2 card name Emperor, remove them from the game, draw 1 card and put a counter on him. For each card removed.
So he cost 1.
What?
He cost 1.
Because
you're drawing 2 back.
No, you're drawing 1.
Draw a card and place a counter for each removed.
Yes. You remove 2 Emperor from your deck.
Yes.
You draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
And then gain a counter.
Yeah, so he draws 2. Meaning he theoretically costs 1. He's a 5-drop.
Oh. I'm reading it as draw 1 card, then place 1 counter on each for each. That's how I was reading it. Draw 1 card and place 1... Yeah, that's how I would read it. You draw 1 single card and then place 1 Paramecia counter on the Emperor for each card removed by this effect.
So is it just a draw 1? We'll have to get that checked out.
Either a draw 1...
I thought it was a draw 2, place 2.
Either or, it's fine.
It's still fine.
Yeah.
He's still cheap. He's still nice.
It's even better, but like,
Yeah.
I think the art on this will look sick. Let's go over full art cards and we'll talk about... I want to go over full art cards so we can talk about how bad everything is. Merilith. Terrible ass fucking card. Scholar. Okay, that one's fine.
Pretty good.
I don't think it needs to be a full art, but
whatever. Dancer. Solid.
Same thing. It's okay. I don't see why it needs to be a full art. Tiamat. Fuck it. Dude, Snake Heart. Fuck it. Matoya. Needed.
Hell yeah.
That one's a good one. The Night Dancer. Fuck it. The Lich?
Maybe.
I'm happy it's okay. I'm happy, but it didn't need to be.
X-Death?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Man in Black? Hell yeah. Hooded Man? Yes.
Kraken?
Fuck it.
No. Marquise the Phantom? Fuck no. Elysian Sword? Well, like the...
He's fine. Yeah.
The archetype's not good, so I don't fucking give a shit. Elysian Sorcerer? Fuck no. Maria? Yeah. The Emperor? Yeah. Zemus? Fuck no.
What?
The Zemus didn't need it.
Dude, that card's sick.
The Scarmaliglione? Didn't need it. The Kane?
No. Hold on. Don't go attacking my Archfiends, okay?
Amphma?
Doesn't need it. Noel? Hell yes.
Noel? Yeah, that was a fun one.
Legends. Which Furion is this? Oh my god. This is an old Furion.
The Ishtola Wind Earth? Fucking nuts ass fucking one right there.
Veritas? Hell yeah! It's an FFBE! Searchable!
This Furion is the only other rebel in this fucking set.
And it's a legacy?
Oh, yeah. So, your pre-release promo is Aphma. Your box topper's the Noel. So that'll look nice.
Yep.
That's a real good box topper. The Aphma doesn't.
God, I want to know what the crystals look like. I wonder if I can get a picture of them.
Half these full arts just feel bad. Honestly, overall, the FFB stuff's really cool. And there's a couple of really good cards, like the Hooded Man and all that. Like, this set, outside of a few cards, feels really bad. Feels terrible. It doesn't feel like... I guess Samurai's got better?
Samurai's got better. Dragoon's got a nice, a better piece for him.
There are a couple better pieces for some.
So like Samurais, Dancers, Turks, Dragoons, all got boosts. FFBE has a
new archetype.
It's got a new archetype that can play in multiple different elements.
And can play differently, however it needs.
In each element, yeah, it's super cool.
That's the only part. So like being a Rebellion Skull, FFBE is the only thing that got any good support out of all this. Because like the
which is funny because we got FFB support last set with a whole deck archetype.
Cat 2, which should have been the set that should have been the category that
Cat 2 got stuff I think 2 sets ago, which feels weird compared to this set.
Because it should have been in this set.
It should have just been this set because none of that stuff was really getting played until like now.
Rebels.
Yep.
So like I don't fucking.
It's about Furion and the gang going up against the Emperor.
I'll hold my grudge forever.
I mean, yeah, they're never gonna change that. Next set is supposed to be, from what we can see, Final Fantasy VII base, and it'd be real funny if they just completely fucking gave you Yuffie, and that was it.
They gave you the starter deck,
and that was it. They're like, we're done. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. This is probably a long one, but it's fine. You just play and listen to it casually is the whole point.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/TCG University. And big news, Noah.
Big news.
As of the middle of this video, while I was working on my phone, we can now announce that we will be commentating the...
is this going to be out before then?
I should have it done later this week.
Okay, 6.
I'm not doing any extra editing outside of just putting this up.
I mean, that makes sense,
yeah. Should not have to. We'll see. We will be commentating Re-Raise Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Man,
it's late.
Phoenixville, Pennsylvania at Gamers Heaven. So look forward to that.
Almost heaven.
We're gonna have a real fun time. Drive 18 hours to Pennsylvania.
West Virginia.
Wrong side of the country.
Blue Ridge Mountain.
Nope, no big mountains.
Shenandoah River.
I think that's on the other side of the country. So make sure if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCG University. Check out the other content on the channel. Let us know what you guys want to see in the future. And as always, stay learned.
I don't have a tagline yet.
Yep.